I am the Eggman. I am the Eggman. I am the walrus. Cuckoo, cachoo. And joining me as ever, the Christy Winter.
Chicken banana. Chicken banana.
Christy, you've
Chicken
been
banana.
you've been on
banana.
you've been on a bon voyage.
I've done so
That
many
joke works in
people,
English.
so many places, so many things. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Presumably you went there to try and resurrect West Germany, I imagine. Given that it was the
In
previous
Bristol?
capital. No, Bonn.
Oh, sorry, I was still in Bristol. Yeah, I mean,
I did the joke bon voyage. It works in English.
Oh, right. Okay.
God damn it.
Bond double N.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very clever.
It was Balloon Fest.
It was what?
They released some balloons. It was balloon-based entertainment. It was fine.
Well, okay, but I'm only interested if there were a specific number and if they were of the same colour.
No. There were more than that.
Brother, oh God. Well, that is unacceptable. Yes, thank you, Swirly Curly, for resubscribing. Don't forget, you can give me money. You can, all of you can give me money in the form of bits and subs and super chats and all that bollocks, if you wanted to. You know, that's a thing. Anyway,
So
yeah.
Kevin,
So you've been away a little while, Christo.
I had so many things going on, and I was then traveling on like many days, and so yeah, I think I haven't talked to you since May.
Yeah, it's been
like 2 weeks.
Hot second.
Yeah,
so, but thankfully you've been very quiet.
Yeah, nothing's really happened in the news, I didn't.
No.
We would have just been watching, I don't know, like gym fail videos or something if I would have been here.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's not like Elon Musk literally called the president a pedophile or anything.
Yeah, or like Iran and Israel are like on the brink of war, nothing like that.
No.
Or U.S. senators are getting handcuffed at public press conferences, and people are being kidnapped and deported out of America. And Trump tried to federalize the National Guard so that he can provoke violence to justify police states, so that they can start rejecting the votes coming from blue states to preserve the Republican majority in 2026.
But they are doing a military parade, so that's good.
Yeah, because when it comes to waste, fraud, and abuse, we really need to blow.
Yeah, where's the Doge on this one, lads?
Exactly.
Come on now.
I really hope people protest that. I hope they show up with signs that say "No more kings" and "Fuck Donald Trump" and lots of "Die Donald Trump." No, you can't say that because then
yeah, exactly. Look, this is the thing. I hope they turn up with signs. Honest. Yeah. That's all I'm hoping for is just some signs, and it's all peaceful. Honest.
Well, how about what a sign that said "Come on, Father Time"?
Is Father Time into that?
I don't know. Yeah, no.
Fair dues. Yes. Anyway, yeah. So I suppose we should talk about some of the serious things then, shouldn't we? I guess.
That's kind of why people turn up, right?
Yeah. Okay. So Israel not content with just doing a cheeky bit of genocide, are now deciding to start World War III.
Yeah.
Which is super dope. Yeah, they've bombed Iran overnight. Tehran specifically, it seems, is the main focus. John McCain? You what? Sorry.
Can I quote John McCain?
Go for it.
Bomb, 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 Iran.
See, this is why I'm very glad he's dead. Can we get some lols in chat for John McCain still being dead? Yes, yeah. And why I will take the piss out of his daughter for being a bitch as well. Yeah, look, I'm not saying the Vietcong should have finished.
Wedding Valerie.
True.
Whatever Tiffany, or the fuck that white lady's name was.
True.
No shade on that white lady, whoever pissed her off. Thank you.
Yeah, true. Has Kev heard of Mike Wright? Or Mick Wright?
W-R-I-T-E? Or W-R-I-G? It sounds like a comedian.
W-R-I-G-H-T. Mick Wright.
Sounds like a
vaguely. Comedian. Is that the Radio 2 DJ? Or am I thinking... hang on, I'm going to have to look this up now, aren't I?
Yeah, so... I guess it's also overshadowed what sounded like a fucking Mission Impossible plot line in Ukraine. What they did to the Russians. Did you cover that?
No. What's that? The drone
Okay,
strike thing.
yes,
Okay, yes.
when they embedded them in semis
Yeah, yeah. It
and then
seems
they
like they.
drove all over the interior of Russia, and then they set them off to bomb the fighter jets at various military stations that have been attacking them.
Yeah, they seem the Israelis are now claiming this has been years in the making. They've had these undercover sites that guide the missiles in or something. Now there are a number of issues involved in this. I mean, firstly, like they genuinely do seem intent on doing World War Three, and this is what happens when they have absolutely no pushback. When they
If
know they
only
face no repercussions for doing whatever the fuck they like, what's to stop them?
if only someone many years ago would have. Are you okay? You need to go blow your nose.
Yeah, I'm good.
An American president would have negotiated a deal with Iran that would have allowed us to have monitors in exchange for unfreezing some of their assets and build up a relationship of little baby steps toward trust to reduce the threat of nuclear war in the Middle East. So Israel wouldn't have to engage in these, feel like it has to. I don't want to say it has to. Like it feels or it wants to justify these kinds of attacks. And if only some dumb orange son of a bitch had ripped up that agreement and now is basically trying to renegotiate the same fucking agreement with Tehran.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. He's desperately trying,
Mm-hmm.
and he's doing the well. Maybe we'll bomb you. Maybe you'll do a deal type thing. But like, people are getting people are getting killed. What's sorry?
Hay
Fuck me.
season, hay fever season. You got allergies.
I don't have allergies. That's the thing. No, I'm
Hmm.
just a sneezy boy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, but they've basically faced no pushback for fucking years now, doing whatever the hell they like. So there's nothing stopping them, and it's
Yeah.
really annoying because like this is all being done to stop Benjamin Netanyahu going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's a Wag the Dog. I don't know if people are old enough to remember the movie Wag the Dog. I didn't actually see it, but the premise is the president basically like goes to war in order to protect his poll ratings, whatever.
Well,
Um,
yeah, but it literally like he's actually bad for Zionism because he makes it too
mhm.
obvious. Like it's
Mm,
difficult to defend this shit because they're not defending themselves, obviously, right?
yeah.
What he's doing is he's continually doing war so that his government doesn't get dissolved and then he doesn't have to step
Yep.
down and then he doesn't go to jail.
Face legal. Yeah. He
Yeah.
just wants to be president until he dies, so he can avoid the jail time.
So he might actually go to war to protect one evil bastard from the comeuppance he deserves.
Oh, like Putin, he doesn't matter who he it doesn't matter who he kills as long as he keeps his power. He maintains his grip on power.
But he was under no real threat. Like it was a self-imposed own goal from.
You sure you don't want to go blow your nose?
I do actually. Give me a second.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So hey everyone, I tried to actually get on my Twitch channel on the Chrome app, and it like wanted me to do I don't know random stuff like log in and authenticate, and I couldn't be bothered with that. So let me just go into the show and look at the chat and see who's around and say hi.
Hello.
Oh, you're back.
I am back. Don't talk to the chat. They're a hive of scum and villainy.
Yes.
Who should give me money because I'm nice to them. That is how it works, I think. I don't know. Yes. So another sort of aspect of this, which is really obvious, they've said before that they've been doing strategic strikes in Gaza, and they haven't. They've obviously been carpet bombing.
No, just kill.
Whereas this shows you they can do strategic strikes and take out a specific fucking place without bringing the building down. They've done that in several places in Tehran now. Now, they've killed loads of innocent people, of course, but it just goes to show you that they are deliberately destroying buildings. They're deliberately making life impossible, i.e. doing genocide in Gaza.
Yeah, I mean, Israel does not want this. They should not want this fight. I don't, because if they really start a hot war in the Middle East, they are not going to win.
Well, it depends if they want to go nuclear, I guess. I mean, it depends. Like, the problem that Israel are going to have, of course, is...
But you can't nuke your own backyard.
Well, Iran's far enough away that they're probably okay. But even so, regardless of that, Daddy America are not going to be happy about that because, nuclear bombs, not a great idea. And secondly, as soon as some rockets start landing in Israel, they're going to find out that those people who've got 2, 3, 4 passports have got places to go. The settlers in
Yeah.
Tel Aviv are not going to be like okay with rockets all the fucking time,
Yeah, there's
and
a
not just
lot
the
of
shitty little
world
pea
war
shooter
citizens
rockets that they've been
in
getting from
Israel.
fucking Gaza. We're talking like proper actual like Iran is not some broke back fucking like
No, this is what
Saddam
I mean.
Hussein Iraq shithole. Like they can actually fucking cause Israel some real problems.
Yeah, this is going to be Hezbollah lobbing rockets from the Golan Heights.
Yeah, they're fucked if they do this, and again, a lot
Yeah.
of their population will leave because they've got other countries to go
Stop
to.
it. Get some
Yeah, they're
help.
very generous in their dual citizenship, allowance, which is fair because I think dual citizenship or multi-citizenship should be completely allowed. But yeah, a lot of people are gonna fuck off out of Israel if
Yeah.
if rockets
And
start.
that's fine. Like that's when wars happen, people leave. That's
Mhm.
not a
Yeah,
new
they're called
concept.
refugees.
Yeah,
Other
it's
countries
happened
might.
in every war that's ever happened. Civilians want to leave the place where they might get murderized.
Yeah.
Fine, but Israel can't really afford that because the Zionist project is predicated on having lots of those people in that place.
Staying.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about.
So yeah, fucking trying times. I hope. Like this is, it's not at all on the Iranian people or the Iranian government to have to be chill about it, but I hope they are. I hope this doesn't escalate into something much larger than it needed ever to be.
Yeah, it's hard to say right now. The world is such a unpredictable place.
Yes,
You're still sniffling.
I'm still sniffling. Yes, and
It-
what of it?
It really annoys me. I'm sorry. I've got this. Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. What's it called? Mal.
Do you regret coming back now?
Yes.
Good. Anyway, yeah. So, oh shit, what were you saying? I interrupted you with my face.
Oh, really, really. You interrupted
did.
me.
I did.
Misophonia. That's what it calls. It's certain sounds cause significant distress, irritation, anger, or other intense emotions and physiological reactions.
See that? So I've got misophonia to human beings talking. That it does annoy me enormously.
I think what I was saying, it's gone now. Basically, like I said, if Israel thinks it can win this war, I don't, because I think it's one of those cases where if Israel actually goes to war with Iran, there's a lot of like Iran and Iraq. There's a lot of people who hate each other in the Middle East. Like it's Sunni versus Shia kind of bullshit. But I think if you go to war with our Muslim brothers and sisters, I think there's a whole unification of the Muslim world around that.
There's I think maybe it's a little more complicated than that, but I know the point you're making. I think it as always with war, it depends on what you mean by winning, because winning doesn't necessarily mean the same thing in all situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've talked about in the American Civil War, the South wasn't trying to take over the North; it just wanted recognition, right? So it's how do you achieve the goal you want to win?
Mm-hmm.
And from Israel's point of view, their only goal, and this is the sort of problem of having a war without a plan, is that you end up with like Iraq or Afghanistan. It's a fucking nightmare. When you're doing things for bad reasons, the outcome is obviously going to be muddled and shit. So going to war to protect Benjamin Netanyahu by just essentially kicking the war can down the road, or at least the peace can down the road. What are Israel's aims here? Because no one's buying.
We know what the aims of the other countries would be.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Get rid of Israel.
Yeah. Which again, it also isn't possible because I think Israel is one of the few countries that genuinely would use nuclear weapons if they were ever genuinely threatened. I think there's very little doubt of that. They've shown themselves to be genocidally committed to the existence of Israel. What are they going to do?
Like just rain down nuclear weapons all over the Middle East, destroy the global oil supply, like ruin that for for like thousands of years?
If Israel was genuinely threatened, I don't think the weirdo religious cultists who run Israel would give two fucks about that. I genuinely don't. They've shown themselves to be committed to genuinely inhuman extent to the existence of Israel above everything else. I think they'd happily do it. I think they'd happily nuke Baghdad, Tehran. Fuck it, they'd nuke Jerusalem. They don't give a fuck. They genuinely don't. This is the problem with religious extremism.
Yeah,
you're not going to act in rational ways. What Israel is doing right now, and what has been doing for a long time, is not rational. It's not doing it in its own best interests. It's not doing it in the interests of its own civilians or its own future prosperity. It's just been given a blank check by America. And as we've seen with Ukraine, America is very fickle about who it gives fucking blank checks to. Eventually, your time will come. You won't be of use to them anymore. And then when the fuck are you going to be?
I guess they probably hope that the Patriot system missile thing would protect them from most of the damage. But yeah, in an active war situation, if it starts to spread and more countries get involved.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If other countries do get dragged in, it's a genuinely precarious situation. With, like I say, Israel's war aims here are so nebulous and silly. Like, we know no one's buying they're close to having a nuclear bomb, because they've told us that every year I've been alive. It isn't true. It's as untrue now as it was before. They've tried this shit. They tried it in Iraq, for fuck's sake. The thing you'll notice is countries that do have nuclear weapons or are close to having nuclear weapons don't get bombed. Because that's dangerous. They can fire back at you. There's a reason, for instance, that the USA has not bombed Moscow.
They have estimates on what they predict the number of nuclear weapons Israel has is.
I have no idea, but it's a lot. It's certainly enough to fucking flatten huge most major cities in Iran, for instance. Definitely. Yeah, so like nuclear armed states don't get bombed because they can hit back, which is how you know for definite that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. They're bullshitting. So what exactly are their plans here? Just do war forever? Also, has anyone checked up on the mega communists, please? Has anyone checked in on Haz? Because this has got to be their 9/11, surely. This has got to be their 9/11. The Trump is the candidate of peace against genocide Joe. Okay, babe, how'd that work?
All right, so I've got a conservative consensus of between 80 and 100, and a high estimate of up to 400, but that's considered less likely.
That's a lot. That's certainly far more than Britain has.
That's certainly more than they need.
Way more than they need. They've only got 10 million fucking people.
Yeah, and well, also what are you gonna do with 80 nuclear weapons?
Well, okay, we've been through this, Christy.
Yeah, I know, but isn't there a map somewhere where you can put it?
Nuclear.
Nukes. I'll just call them nukes.
Okay.
Isn't there a map somewhere where you can like pretend to, if you had a nuke go off, it will show you the damage area?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hang on.
Yeah. Is
this the one? Here we go. Right. Where do we want to nuke, Christo?
Well, let's just get I guess London is a city that, because it's fucking huge. It would give us a sense of, or New York, yeah, I guess. It's just, I want to get a sense of...
London. There you go.
London.
Let's drop one. I mean, look.
Right on Parliament?
Right on Parliament. Well, it's literally already there. That's literally it. You know what? Fuck it. Just because they're unelected.
I don't know why. It's not as if...
Just because they're unelected, House of Lords. Boom. Right.
Okay.
So, which type of warhead? Oh, good lord, we've got quite a lot going on.
Oh, I didn't realize there'd be this much choice.
The Davy Crockett, the smallest US bomb produced, 20 tons. The crude nuclear blah 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 blah. I know the biggest one is the Tsar Bomber. What's the biggest one they have now? What's like a reasonable one that they would have?
They probably have a Zombomba or whatever, because it's
that's like a huge big one that like essentially can't be dropped from any regular plane. The Russians invented it and then like couldn't ever have used it.
Do a surface missile.
You know what we do? Dong Feng, because it's got dong in it.
Bad dong.
Yeah. Well, actually, the largest bomb currently in the U.S. arsenal. Should we go with that?
Yeah, because that's probably what they have.
So that's B-83, 1.2 megatons. Okay, basic options: airburst, surface, other effects, casualties. I think we want casualties, don't we? And radioactive fallout.
Yeah, that's the one because it's not just the initial blast; it's the fallout area
Okay. Let's detonate. Oh
shit!
That number is still going up. Fuck. Okay. So, estimated fatalities
Croydon's okay.
Croydon's never been okay. Estimated fatalities of 1.15 million.
Wow.
Estimated injuries of 2.6 million.
Yeah.
What are these rings? So the
Fallout.
fireball radiation
Yeah.
is that little yellow one. So that's
Yeah.
literally basically everything. All of Parliament, Downing Street's gone.
Yeah.
Hang on.
MI6.
Is Buckingham Palace? St James's is mostly gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically central London's fucked. The next one is moderate blast damage.
Okay.
How
This is
is-
where all like you're vaporized.
Yeah, at 5 psi overpressure, most residential buildings collapse. Injuries are universal. Fatalities are widespread. The chance of fire starting in commercial and residential damage are high. Buildings so damaged at a high risk of spreading fire. Often used as a benchmark for moderate damage in cities. Then you get the thermal radiation, which is third-degree burns, extensive throughout this layer of skin. Also often painless because they destroy pain nerves.
Yeah. At some point, when you're burned so badly, you actually destroy your nerve endings, so you can't feel it anymore. That's
that's
scary.
good. That's nice. So yeah, basically everything's fucked. Oh, there's Chelmsford. Oh,
What's the last?
we should have bombed
what's the-
Chelmsford.
What's the last one? Is that last one the third-degree burns one, or is
No, the last one is light damage blast radius.
Okay.
At around 1 psi, glass windows can be expected to break. This can cause many injuries in surrounding population. Also come with a window after seeing the flash of a nuclear explosion, which travels faster than the pressure wave, often used as a benchmark for light damage in cities. Optional height of burst of maximal expression. Okay. So yeah, basically all of London's fucked. So there you go.
That's a pretty big surface area. Now
Yeah.
you multiply that by 80.
I'm alright, I'm all the way up here, I'm good.
You're
I don't
fine.
give a fuck. And then
Look,
you're
I mean, how
all
big
the way
is-
down there.
Yeah,
That's
like where are the inhabited parts of Tehran? You keep sniffing, babe. I need you to go blow your nose again.
No.
Get some Kleenex by you.
Okay, let's go to Tehran. Well, not surprisingly, Tehran is on the list of automatic selections. So there we go. We can go to Tehran.
Yeah.
Let's just do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
going to be more or less?
return
Oh,
of
it's
the-
way more. Oh, shit.
How much to make you put the map marker
Wow.
over Mould Queen's Castle?
Okay, 2.6 million with 3.7 injuries.
Damn. Can you scroll out? Just how big is Iran? I don't have a good-
Massive. Really
All right.
big.
But when is
yeah.
it? Well, how much of it is populated?
Not much. Basically,
Yeah.
all of this bit, the sort of
Yeah.
western
Well, you can
bit
tell
is...
because look how big the
mountains.
rest of the provinces are. Where people live is where the small provinces are because they're harder to manage, you know, because there's more people. So you make them smaller, whereas out in the middle of nowhere, yeah, that won't really matter.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's, yeah. Not
Well, there you
ideal.
go. Little preview of what we have to look forward to.
Yippee! Thank you, Tess, who says hello. Hello to you. How much to put a marker over Mould Queen's Castle? Do you mean you want me to bomb Edinburgh? Okay. I guess.
Go back to the United Kingdom. Well, it's interesting. Oh, okay. Glasgow comes up first, but Edinburgh might have just been in the sea.
Yeah, I don't know. How do I move the marker to the I don't know. Edinburgh. Go. There you go. Boom. Detonate.
Ooh,
It's not going to be a million, is it? Because Edinburgh's small.
yeah, comparatively.
268,000 deaths and 268,000 injuries. Quite an even spread of deaths.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. I've just bombed J.K. Rowling for you. Well, not in Minecraft, whatever this game is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lots and lots and lots of other people, but also J.K. Rowling. Unless
that
she's
is
on a yacht somewhere smoking a cigar.
Check out the Tsar bomb, but I'm legit curious if it would cover all of Great Britain. Okay, I will bomb Birmingham with the
The
biggest bomb
return of
ever.
the sausages.
Boiled like
One
Harry
second.
Potter.
Yeah.
Type again.
Go. There we go. Okay. So that's me. About to get fucking vaporized.
You wouldn't even know what hit you, I bet.
No, probably not. 100 megatons, the largest USSR bomb designed. Okay.
USSR?
Yeah, the Tsar bomber. It was 100 megatons. It was so big you basically can't drop it from a plane, which makes it fucking useless. But it was fucking big. It would have destroyed entire countries. Oh!
Oh shit!
God damn. How many people get killed? Lots.
Almost
2.3
millions around.
million with
Yeah.
3.2 million injuries.
I mean, you got deaths in Wales with that shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That radiation's going to spread as well.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. But it doesn't cover the entire country now. Is that what you wanted, chat? You monsters. Anyway, talking of monsters, ice.
Oh yeah.
So what have you been
And
making
not
of
ice,
the...
ice baby.
No, not the good kind of ice, or the ice that cools you off and refreshes you on a hot day. No,
You-
the immigration cunt bag enforcement.
Yeah.
What have you been making of... well, not just LA, but LA has been obviously one of the focuses.
Yeah, well, insofar as Trump is trying to use Los Angeles as an excuse to establish a police state, because I think that it's not going as well as he had hoped. In a lot
Yeah,
of
undoubtedly, yeah.
ways. He's even now. What he bleated something out on his fascist platform.
Yeah.
It was completely indecipherable. I think I actually sent you a video about it, but it had something to do.
Make
Well,
love to
he
Vogo,
started rounding
not
up people
war.
at places like Home Depot, which are owned by people like his donors
Yeah.
and farmers in Nebraska. And in order to make these numbers that Stephen Miller has in his head for goals,
Yeah.
as a consequence, he's now having to dip because there wasn't a large population of criminal undocumented workers in the United States. It just wasn't. Previous administrations had done, kind of like swept those people up when they came through the justice system or when they were released from prison. And so, unless you're going to say that every single person who crossed the border illegally is a criminal because they broke the law, P.S. so are you every time you speed, you're not going to make up the numbers just going for criminals. So that's why they're now going for essential workers.
Yeah.
Well, not essential workers as in like health nurses, but people, day laborers, and food,
People who actually make the economy tick. Yeah.
hotel cleaners, people who work at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Help you find that one size screw that you need or something. And it's just like fucking. I just saw something the other day. No, it must have been this morning from the Bulwark, where Sarah Longwell is doing focus groups with mega voters. And it's not really related to ICE, but it is related to voting against your own economic interest.
Can I just interject? We're on a hype train, everyone.
True.
If you give me lots of money, I won't starve. This is your hype train goal. Thank you.
So Sarah Longwell related the views of a woman who voted for Trump and is getting frustrated with him. She said, look, what he's doing on the mass deportations is good. And I'm glad that he's stopping kids from getting trans surgery. But now they're going after my SNAP benefits. And I have 2 kids and I get $900 a month and I need that money, or, I'm really, really in a bad way if I don't get my government check.
Yeah.
Fucking yes.
Well,
yes.
You fell for it again then, I suppose.
Exactly. Like, it's really hard to liberate the working classes when they keep voting against their own economic interests.
Yes. Leopards eat faces, more at 11.
Your kids are going to go hungry, but hell, trans kids aren't going to get the health care they need. And that, does that make it worth it? Are you happy about that? Is that what you voted for?
In some ways, it is what a lot of these people voted for, because they're fucking fascist scum. Whereas a lot of them are also just sort of not very well clued in. They just wanted to get rid of foreigners and nothing else. But that's not the package. That's not the deal that you're signing up for, Yeah. Thank you, Swirly Curly, for resubscribing. Thank you, Andrelina, for subscribing with Prime. Thank you, Vogel, who you already did that with Edinburgh. Thank you, Baron Von Coxlap, who says boiled like Harry Potter. Disavow that. Thank you, Vogel. Thank you, non-binary, for gifting a sub to Crush Ice, which I presume is a pointed reference at this point, but there we go. Yeah. Also, it's good to see that sort of the courts are able to have some impact on this as well, because they've obviously blocked Trump from sending the National Guard in against the will of the governor.
Yeah, the lower court did.
It's interesting how the states' rights people all of a sudden disappear. Like, did you know in the big beautiful bill, it stops states from regulating AI for 10 years. Now, forgive me, I'm not a constitutional expert, Christy, but I was led to believe that unless powers are deliberately enumerated in the Constitution, they get delegated to the states.
I think it's called the 10th Amendment.
Yeah. I was not aware of the AI part of the... I don't remember George Washington specifically going, we need to put, the thing about the guns and that, and they're not quartering soldiers, and AI, just in case, you never know. No! Obviously that's fucking illegal. What the fuck? Absolutely mad shit. But the states' rights people all voted for it. Because for them, states' rights just means being racist and having guns.
States' rights to do what?
States' rights to do what? Oh, we've got to apply that. We've got to,
Stop it.
Yeah.
Get some help.
Let's watch that.
Doobus goobus. Let's fucking...
You either have a stuffy nose or you're doing coke. I can't quite tell which one.
Do I sound animated enough to be doing coke, Krista? And do you think I'm rich enough to be doing coke?
No.
I was programmed to protect
and
nothing will stand in my way.
I have to allow adverts, otherwise YouTube doesn't work.
2.0. Incident was June 27.
Oh, we have to watch
Very few things in history.
Oh, I'm
multi-monetize this. Can you share your screen with me?
Yeah, I was about to say, I wasn't playing. I was like, why is this bitch talking? Shut the fuck up!
Yeah.
But you couldn't hear the thing.
Very few things in history are black and white. A lot of it is gray, and that includes the Civil War. It was actually fighting for states' rights.
States' rights to do what?
Excuse me, sir?
States' rights to do what? What did you want to use those rights for? You usually don't mention that part. I want to hear it. I wonder what you want to do with them.
Well, the Confederacy didn't want to be oppressed by the North.
Really, what were they preventing you from doing? What did they not want you to do?
Listen, my friend, there was more to it than slavery for why we made the Confederacy.
That is really, really interesting, because the guy who made the Confederacy, the vice president, said that was because they wanted to have slavery, and all the state constitutions said they wanted to have slavery, and they seceded the moment that the president got elected that was going to abolish slavery. Boy, the Confederacy sure looks slavery adjacent, at least. No, anyways, states' rights do what?
You're ignoring our other concern.
Yeah, but among the concerns was slavery, so I don't care, because you deserve it, because you're evil. And slavery is evil. You should know this. By the way, could you answer my question, you fucking traitor? States' rights to do what?
Well, it's our heritage.
It lasted 5 years. The annoying oranges existed longer than the Confederacy did. The fuck?
But on the point, sort of, I suppose, when people in these anti-ICE protests have been carrying Mexican flags, and all these people carrying the flag of a foreign country is outrageous. And then the very next tweet is, we stand with Israel. And then the Israeli flag. Like, motherfucker. Can you make it any more obvious?
They fly the flag of a defeated nation that was traitorously, tried to split from the Union.
Yeah.
So the fact that Trump is renaming things after General Lee, it just shows you what, again, working class people who vote against their interests, black voters who voted for the guy who destroyed DEI, stripped out black soldiers and black history out of the military, and now wants to rename things after white Confederate leaders.
Also, again, can you make it any more obvious? You're a fucking New Yorker. You couldn't be more coastal elite.
Look, and I'm not only going to go after Hispanic voters and black. I'm going to go after white women too. White women have voted for Trump, and now they're going to make the abortion pill illegal. And they're all you who voted for Trump, you're fucking idiots.
What about those with economic concerns?
He just wanted the egg prices to go down.
What about the eggs? Did you hear him? Oh my God, his thing. Egg prices have gone down 400%. What? So they're paying you to take the eggs off them now?
Yeah.
So if it cost $1, they're now paying you $3 to take the eggs off them. I think you might be a fucking idiot who's full of shit.
Yeah, he is, and a narcissist. I'm gonna blow my nose because I have a slight sinus infection coming back from Bristol, and I'm
No,
gonna
it's
mute
Bon. It's Bon that done it to you.
No, it was definitely Bristol. I had this in Bonn, but I'm gonna mute myself instead of like blowing my nose into the microphone.
Ooh. God, you're so middle class. Oh, it seems it's outrageous. Thank you to non-binary for resubscribing. I did hear that about J.K. Rowling. She's fucking awful.
Oh yeah, what's it now? I mean, yes, always for years. What's the new thing?
She set up this defending women fund. She's basically going to try and bully trans activists for, you know.
Oh, so she's going to go
existing.
after cis heterosexual men who are the main causes of violence against women, abuse of women.
No.
You know that
No.
when a woman who gets pregnant, it actually increases her likelihood of being murdered by her own partner.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
quite
you know, women's bathrooms apparently way more
Yes.
important than actually protecting women,
Indeed.
cis women in this case, but also trans women need protection as well.
But we do, yeah, we know it's not about protecting women and girls. It's
No.
just being transphobic. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Michael Ansom, for being a member for 2 months on the YouTube. Much love to
Can
you.
you imagine if J.K. Rowling went after cis men the way she goes after trans women?
Well, the media would hound her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how you know she's not actually fighting against any kind of power. It's that
Yeah.
the media love her.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking annoying orange, dude. You're gonna celebrate a nation so fucking weak the annoying orange outlived it?
Well, stage right.
Got Douglas.
Each Dixie boy must understand
Get
that
Douglas. Get
Honest.
Douglas. And on that note, okay.
So, in the prelude to War in the Middle East, what are we going to talk about next?
Well, this is what I thought I would do, right? We've done some serious stuff there.
Okay, you going to give us my silly shit now?
A little bit of shit.
Okay, we need a little palate cleanser, a little emotional
Christy.
regulation.
What is your opinion of spoons?
They're useful for soup. They're a nice position to cuddle in. And sometimes people run out of them if they have a lot of emotional energy drained out of them.
Those are all of the ways in which that word can be used that I was not using it.
Oh, you mean more like in a warhorse kind of way?
No, not in that way either. Wetherspoons.
Oh, God, get fucked. Go broke. Go bankrupt, Wetherspoons. Mostly your owner, not the workers.
Anyway, friend of the channel, as in he raided in once. Tom Nicholas.
One time he rated in.
He raided in one. Friend of the show, regular friend, old Tommy boy. Me and him, we're like two peas in a pod. Anyway, he did a thing about Wetherspoons, which might be quite fun, and we can intersperse it maybe with the shite you've sent me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good.
good stuff.
Is there any spaces in the UK that you would be like, that can make a massive spoons?
God,
Buckingham
it's
Palace,
Bannon.
and there would still
You want to?
He looks like Steve Bannon, but like 20 years older.
He does, yeah.
He really does. Is he Steve Bannon's dad?
Maybe.
Well,
I've
let's
not
start
seen the
that-
long form
start that
birth
rumor.
certificate. I
Yeah,
don't know.
let's start that rumor.
Yeah. I like the idea of making the Buckingham Palace into a pub, though. That would be dope. Although, given the prices in central London, Jesus Christ.
be room for King Charles and his family. We could still let them live there.
Okay, so they can have upstairs, downstairs can be a massive spoon.
could be a pub, yeah.
This is Tim Martin, founder and chairman of JD Wetherspoon, Britain's most iconic pub chain.
Does everyone in the chat understand why that man is absolutely an atrocious human being and has helped ruin Britain?
He was involved with the Brexit thing.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he's a very unpleasant man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure he'll probably get into that. It is. I mean, we won't get through this entire thing because obviously, but
It's more than 4 minutes long.
it's more than 4 minutes long, and yeah.
Sorry, or as Tim put it,
The world's grooviest pub company.
Wetherspoons is more than just a chain of pubs, it's a cultural institution.
Few towns lack at least one Wetherspoon pub on their high street, and so woven have they become into the nation's cultural fabric that visiting a branch has even made its way onto the itinerary of many tourists.
Let's go
try a spoons.
But
No. No. Oh, can you not just focus on the fact that we did loads of war and genocide instead? That would be less embarrassing.
And slavery.
And slavery, yeah. Let's go to a spoons. Is that what we are now as a nation?
What, you want to pay overpriced for a beer in a commercial, just pop out of the box, they all look alike with the same menu experience.
This level of cultural dominance hasn't come without controversy.
We're very popular at the moment. I had a spell when I wasn't quite so popular, which I didn't enjoy as much.
To some, Spoons is the saviour of the Great British pub. One of the few places left you can still get an affordable pint and bit of food.
Thank you. Username was Entity asked the very pertinent question: how many women have you fingered in and around Spoons? To which I say it's a very personal question. Lots.
Food in a usually pretty welcoming environment.
To others, it's the McDonald's of pubs, imposing a corporatized, identikit pub experience on every town in the country, whilst putting more unique local venues out of business.
You want
The End of the World.
The World's End, yeah.
Yeah, The World's End. That's it.
Yeah.
When they just go in and all the pubs are the fucking same.
Yeah, because they are. I mean, it's unfortunately the same. The problem is, of course, that because of the way in which the British High Street is dying, I don't know that individual pubs can survive in this climate, which makes it sort of inevitable almost that this kind of chain was going to pop up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's quite difficult in a health-conscious age when obesity rates are rising and, people are more and more cognizant of the long-term effects of alcohol. Also, we just form community differently than they did 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Like even when I was doing my PhD, this was the early 2000s, there were a lot of just corner pubs. Yeah. And people would go down to the corner pub and meet up and consume unnecessary calories and alcohol and socialize. And there were no TVs. There were no video game fruit machines. There wasn't even music on. It was just chairs and beer and maybe a newspaper on the bar.
Yep.
Nuts.
That's yeah. And don't think too much about why your feet are sticking to the carpet.
Yeah, exactly. And that was it. Like the furniture was worn from all the asses that sat on it. The tables were slightly wonky, and then they closed it. They kicked you out. At 10:45.
Yeah, that was it. That was the charm of it all. That was British pub life. Whereas now it's Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
What was someone asked a question and I've totally missed the point of my existence now. I don't know. Anyway, yes.
And all of that's before we even get into Tim's outspoken political views.
I mean, obviously I got involved in the referendum. That got a bit sparky. If we leave the EU in March 2019, we can reduce food prices for everyone in the country and save £200 million a week.
Yeah.
So a little while back, I had this idea.
Yeah, the old Nostradamus didn't work out in the end, did it? Really? Kind of gone quite badly.
Project Fear.
Yeah.
Basically, was called "We Were Right" the whole time.
Yeah.
Of making a video about how Wetherspoons fits into the changing role of pubs in the UK, and I gradually became convinced that the only way to do this properly.
Oh, that was it. So Cathay said that they don't have a Wetherspoons. What fucking part of Britain are you from that you don't have a Wetherspoons? They're literally everywhere. It's like saying, "Oh, I don't have." I don't know. No, actually, no, that doesn't work as an analogy. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they're everywhere.
Oh, by the way, when I was walking around Bristol, I was trying to find my hotel. I walked past to Greg's and went, "Oh, now I'm home."
Yes, indeed.
Was to pack a suitcase.
Oh yeah, did they defuse the bombs?
Yeah. They're really good at that. I mean, I don't even know that they necessarily need to. They probably officially defuse them, but clearly they haven't gone off in the last 70 years or 80 years or whatever.
Yeah, sleeper cells.
Probably something a little bit defective about them. But yes, I think that they're worried that they're more of the shock bombs that send the shock waves out that break glass than necessarily do damage in the immediate area. That's why they had to evacuate so many people.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Christy sent me a thing with, they found bombs in Cologne.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, well, like terrorism. Oh no, they were bombs that we dropped on them. You're very welcome.
In the 1940s.
Well, don't be Nazis. Would just be my general piece of
Oh God, did you see fucking Trump step in it again? Faceplant with the German chant.
Oh yeah. Like, that must have been a really bad day for you. And he was like, No, that's the day that we started the liberation from being Nazi.
From Nazi occupation. Like that was the end of the fascist hold on Germany and the return of democracy and freedom. So
because he's an idiot. Trump's a
he's
fucking
such a
idiot.
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Mertz brought him a copy of his grandfather's birth certificate.
Trump.
Immigrant.
Yeah.
You're an immigrant.
Yeah.
Not even like 100. And your grandfather was born in Germany. That's how.
His mum was born in Scotland.
Yeah. You're barely American.
Yeah. Exactly. Send him home. Except please don't send him home. We don't want him.
Jump in a hire car and go on a 3-day road trip from the UK's most southerly spoons to its most northerly, whilst only eating and drinking in Wetherspoons pubs and sleeping in Wetherspoons hotels along the way. I also decided to navigate only via map, which is why I now possess a huge amount of footage of me going around.
Well, that's such a fucking YouTuber bullshit thing to do. When the sat-nav exists, there was no need for you to add that level of complication to it. You just wanted stock footage of you being lost.
Do you hate yourself? Like, can you imagine only eating off the Spoons menu for 3 full days? Like, either you wouldn't be able to shit at all.
No, it's not. I mean, Christy, I think you're being harsh based on the politics of the owner of the business.
I think that anything, if you look at what he eats, it's going to be high fat.
It's not going to be great. No,
ultra processed.
That is true.
Plus beer on top of it. He's going to gain 5 pounds on this trip.
Yeah, but more cushion for the pushing. It's all good.
And roundabouts outside of Newcastle.
I'm losing faith.
So come along for the ride as we try and work out whether Wetherspoon can be the saviour of the Great British Pub, or whether it's slowly killing everything that makes the pub so special. My journey began in Helston, which has the distinction of being home to the UK's most southerly Wetherspoon. And for me, it would be the first of very, very many.
Are you smiling at?
Oh, fuck off adverts.
I've just checked to see if we were affected by that
premium?
PCP
It's like
scandal.
$10 a month.
Because I am very poor, which people can help me with in the form of bits and subs and super chats. If someone else wants to pay for me to get premium, I still won't. Oh, this is a much nicer one.
Welcome to the coinage hall.
This is a much fancier spoons.
Do you have Netflix?
Do I have what, sorry?
Netflix.
Yes.
Cancel Netflix and get a You're on YouTube way more than you're on Netflix.
But I like Netflix.
When was the last time you watched Netflix?
The other day.
Yeah, what'd you watch?
I rewatched Chernobyl.
What? Chernobyl?
Yeah. Good show.
I bet if you check the hours, you're spending way more time on YouTube than
probably, but Christy. If
You watch
you
Netflix,
whinge at me for 2 to 3 more years, I might get around to doing it. Yeah, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I should have done that ages ago. Yeah.
Send me the link. I have premium. We can watch it ad free.
Is it worth it anymore, Christy? Is it worth living? I don't know. Anyway, yes. So this is a much nicer spoons for people outside of the UK. Don't think that this kind of nice, clean, slightly fancy atmosphere is what you usually get. It isn't.
This is obviously not a Spoons originally.
Get
They
premium
bought
donate
it
to
out and made it into a
$13.59.
Hang
Get
on,
premium,
much light.
please.
Did someone just give me money for get premium? Even though I literally said I won't get premium even if you pay me. Like, I don't feel I need to refund that money because, frankly, I strictly said I still wouldn't. If you then decided to donate on that basis, more for you. Anyway, I've already got like ad block. It just makes it really, really slow because YouTube choke the fuck out the bandwidth if you do that, which is annoying. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so Wetherspoons, right, is usually grotty as fuck. At this time of the day, the alcoholics get in there.
Yeah.
And I know this because back when I was unemployed, I used to sign on and you used to have to get there like before the thing. And so I'd often get there too early and I'd go in and have something to eat in the spoons. And basically all the alcoholics are in there at 9:30.
And what would you order?
I used to get because they only had the breakfast menu. So basically your options are greasy meat and beans.
Greasy potato.
Yeah. So that's
Greasy bread.
Yeah. And as always, to go for a piss, you had to hire a Sherpa to take with you to climb the mountain of stairs to get to the toilet. Because one of the cost-cutting things they did was they'd buy a building and they'd use like the upper office floors as the toilets, and then you'd have to go navigate huge amounts of stairs, which is not good when everyone's drunk.
Yeah.
The number of injuries, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Wetherspoons on our journey, and according to the menu, this used to be some long-standing shops that have been converted. It's actually grade 2 listed, and this is a
this is much nicer than the spoon.
I told you they bought a really nice building and slapped a Wetherspoons sign on the front.
Yeah, this is there are no Wetherspoons like this in Brom. I can assure you of that. They're all fucking like former office buildings that have been converted, or just the grottiest shithouse former pubs. That's it. There are no grade 2 listed fancy buildings.
No.
Well, we have those, just they're not Wetherspoons.
Yeah, they're not Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
Reach off with this. It was a cabinet makers for a while, and then became a coinage hall, which is where locally mined tin was brought to be assayed. Love a good assaying. Right, let's decide what we're eating for breakfast number 1. I think I'm going to start strong on a proper breakfast. We have also decided that I have to have a pint
Go
every
back,
day. So
go back and pause on the screen. I want to see the calorie count. 1,343 calories for the large breakfast, 800 for the traditional, and 435, which is 1 fried egg, 1 bacon, 1 sausage, some baked beans, and a hash brown. If you want it, you can add black pudding for an extra 178.
Yeah. Also,
what the fuck is freedom breakfast? Fucking
freedom breakfast is 2 fried eggs, bacon, baked beans, 2 hash browns, mushroom, and tomato. So, how's that different to?
Yeah.
How is that actually different to just the regular breakfast?
Yeah, that just seems like basically
no
the small
sausage.
breakfast, but with 1 extra.
Yeah, you just don't get sausage with it. But anyway, yeah. Also, notice there's very little calorific difference between the regular and the vegetarian, so you might as well just eat meat.
Do you know how many calories I get to eat a day?
7.
1,800.
That's ridiculous, Christy. You're a human, grown adult person. You need to eat more than that.
No, I mean, the average for a woman is 2,000.
You need more than that, Christo. Okay?
I do a little bit of exercise.
Christy, you can do side bends and sit-ups, but don't lose that healthy butt, okay?
God, can you imagine only like eating, and then you get your tea with, you might have milk with sugar in it.
Mm.
That's it. Just don't eat for the rest of the day.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. That's not healthy. Okay?
So many calories.
No, you need to... Look, was it red beans and rice didn't miss her? Okay? You need big titties, nice ass, calories. Let's fucking go.
I'm going to start strong on a proper breakfast. We have also decided that I have to have a pint everywhere we go, so I will also...
Isn't he driving? What?
I mean, we're in Cornwall. I think I'm going to get good cider. Off we go. Cheers.
Get some help.
As I was sipping on my morning pint and slightly questioning my life choices, our food came and I rejoiced in the fact that at least I wasn't going to have any financial concerns for the next few days. This reasonably large breakfast, after all, had set me back just £3.69. And it certainly felt like, with a bit of luck, it would feel...
That's perfectly reasonable in the modern economy, actually. I have to say.
That's actually a pretty good price, but yeah, it's also a lot of calories.
It's a lot of calories, and you're giving money to a cunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that there's any ethical consumption under capitalism, but like...
No, but there's worse... There's at least lesser ethical and more ethical.
Go to an independent fucking place. Go to... Well, I'm not so sure there's such a thing as a mom and pop pub, but like go to an independently run pub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick Popkin, with 44 months of Prime. Everyone go and follow Nick on the various things. With
44 months.
Cats.
Amazing.
They have cats on the social media. Well, and in their house, obviously. But,
me for what was set to be a long drive to our next stop.
That is one Wetherspoon.
Oh my god, look at this fucking Wetherspoons in Glasgow. We haven't got anything posh like this. As a Wetherspoons, anyway. which is probably for the best. Why are you giving really great buildings to fucking Wetherspoons?
Exactly.
Look at this shit. It's like a fucking cathedral.
Oh my god.
Look at that shit. That's amazing.
That is gorgeous.
Is this what it looks like inside R2-D2?
Yes.
I think it is, yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah. By the way, this is from What's on Glasgow. I know, you'll never guess who's playing in Birmingham in 3 days' time, Christo. And I know this because I have been advertised this person relentlessly for the last week, so presumably ticket sales aren't great.
I don't know, Oasis?
Jimmy Dore.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah, Jimmy Dore is...
I'm a second wave feminist. Oh, so you like white feminism, do you?
Apparently,
Feminism stops at white feminism for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just a fucking Russia stooge. A Russia-Syria stooge.
Mm.
Actually, I suppose he's not a Syria stooge anymore because Assad's gone, but yeah. So he is playing, and I know that because they've sent me emails from these skimming site places, and on all of the social medias telling me I can buy tickets, and I'd literally much rather burn the money. I would literally burn the money before spending on a ticket for Jimmy Cunting Dore.
Oh my god! I didn't tell you about Nish Kumar got in a fight with Jimmy Dore.
Oh, nice! What, physical?
No, verbal.
Oh.
He said it at his show that I went to see, which was basically just, I think I gave you the list. It was amazing. But that was one of the things that came out of it was he and James Acaster were sitting backstage, and at some kind of like festival or charity thing, I don't know, but it was some kind of act, like where a bunch of comedians came in.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Dore popped his head in and saw them and said hi. And Nish started having a go at him for going on some dumb fuck's podcast. Maybe Jordan Peterson?
Okay, right.
Yeah, he was on Jordan Peterson's podcast. And Nish was like, how could you go on Jordan Peterson? He's part of the problem, blah, 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 blah. And Jimmy Dore said something like, if you would have listened, Nish, you would have heard that I asked him challenging questions. He said, no, you fucking didn't, because I did listen. Because that kind of bastard I am. I hate listening to that stuff, and you did not do that. So I think when he said that, he debated Jimmy Dore, and James Acaster described it as attacking him. But also, oh, sorry, I've got to turn my watch off there. I didn't realize that he was he ran after Boris Johnson, calling him a cunt or something. I'll find that clip. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll find that and put it. I'll pop it in the Discord. You just keep going with the Wetherspoons.
Please do.
Thing.
This is 255's local Wetherspoons,
Get
which
the
is
fuck
that's
out.
A theater. That's literally a theater. What
Are they
the
just
fuck?
going around buying up property on the excuse that they're going to make them into Wetherspoons?
Basically, yeah. If it's going cheap and defunct, like presumably this theatre shut down because the cultural wasteland that is wherever the fuck 255 is from, and the Wetherspoons went, oh, that's going cheap. We'll have that. And it would cost us more to get rid of the seats, so we're just going to keep it as a theme.
You might have to go into the bad site. Yeah, Nish Kumar chases down Boris Johnson's motorcade.
Really? Okay. Well, I'll go.
Yeah. Okay. It's on the bad site, but it's because this happened in.
Where is this?
2023. I'm sorry. I'm just going to send you the link now on Discord, Kevin, and I'll just pop that right over there. By the way, his so Sky TV. Oh, you'll show it. You can just put the tweet on and pause the video. You can read out Sky TV's characterization, and then read out Nish Kumar's characterization, and then we'll watch the clip.
Okie dokie. So, Sky TV said, placing at Mr. Nish Kumar and at Josh Widdicombe into close proximity to Boris Johnson was only ever going to end one way. Nish says, I regret nothing, and if I could, I would shout it louder and closer.
Let's go. Oh my word! It's a fucking motorcade! It's a motorcade! It's a motorcade! It's a motorcade! Go! Dish, shout a question! I'll take photos! You fucking How do you feel? You paid what people died, you piece of shit! No, Dish! You fucking
Boris, you fucking cunt!
Dish! They've gone!
It happened so quickly.
Oh. Love it.
Where did they go?
Into the college.
We didn't get near him. I shouted some stuff.
Yeah.
I think I just called him a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think it was worse than that.
So yeah, he told us the story behind that.
Yeah, you went to see him, didn't you?
Yeah, he was in Cologne. Also, it's kind of funny because he was like probably, I think, halfway through his second act, whatever. He goes, yeah, I didn't actually realize how Hitler heavy my act was until I came to Germany. Like, I did the same show in Amsterdam last night. It really hit me. But now that I'm in Germany, saying Hitler this much, that's kind of heavy on the Hitler comparisons.
Yeah, it's a bit Hitler heavy, yes. And you got to be careful because Germany's got fucking laws about that shit.
There were easily 300 people in that room. It was sold out.
Nice.
Sold out. So I think he'll come back to Cologne.
Yeah. Is Wetherspoons a British cheesecake factory? That's more of a question.
Basically.
More of a question for Krista. Did
Yeah.
they serve alcohol at the cheesecake factory? Well, it's nothing
America.
like it then.
Well, but it's all the same menu, the same vibe, the same companies come in and all that kind of stuff. It's just, identikit, I think was the phrase that was used.
Oh, you sent me the wrong one. Oh, okay. So where the fuck was that? Okay. So apparently that wasn't 255's local.
The theatres.
Wetherspoons.
Okay.
No, I don't know where the theatre pub is.
Oh, well, that's much less impressive.
It's much less impressive, but it's still sort of nicer than your average, I think.
Well, I mean, it's pretty well lit.
Stop
If
it.
you take all the lights
Get some
down,
help. Yeah.
that would be much closer. So
Yeah. Also,
I'm
that
assuming
carpet looks
in-
like it wouldn't squelch when you stepped on it. It's
See,
just
I'm
not the
actually-
authentic
I'm getting
experience.
I'm getting a squelching feeling from that carpet, to be honest. The problem is that it's light outside.
Well, this is
really
the thing.
is
You can see the different colours, which makes me think it's relatively new. After a
It doesn't
while,
mean
they
it doesn't
becomes a
swell.
uniform kind of grime
squanch.
colour, and that's how you know that's the real Spoons experience. When literally the formerly patterned carpeting turns into just a kind of general grey colour. Lovely. Thank you to what happened? Noises happened. Thank you to Eric the Red, who says
Discovered
Dr. Nicholas appears. Not yet watched his piece on spoons, but on my watch list. Well, you can watch part of it with us then, because we almost certainly will. We've gone through ages now. We've got through 4 minutes of it.
That's good for us.
That is pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoons down. Quite a few to go.
B-roll. B-roll.
So Wetherspoons is sort of a cultural phenomenon, almost beyond just being a business. What's it been like to see it develop into that over the past decades?
I suppose I've been immersed in it since the age of 24, and I'm nearly 70. So it's part of the life and lifestyle in a way. And I suppose there's not much of a chance in the pub world because it's generally been a challenged business over the decades to sit back and think how...
To be fair, and again, I don't want to be fair to him because he's a wanker, but in the course of the time that he's been running Wetherspoons, the pub trade has all but fucking died in this country. It went from being like every street corner had a pub on it, and you might have a pub in between those pubs. There was a pub everywhere, and now there really isn't. It's a sort of dying part of the culture.
Part of the problem is that he created, because he took the pub and he basically turned like to a restaurant pub thing, and so people would go to Wetherspoons instead of going down and having a quiet pint around the corner.
To a degree, yes, but I think definitely the sort of death of the high street has undoubtedly affected that pretty significantly as well. They're going to third spaces outside of home and work are dying more broadly, not just pubs. So I think there is certainly a truth that he has helped exacerbate that to a degree. But again, I think given the economic climate we live in, it seems almost inevitable that something like this would have happened.
I think that there was a type of person who, like, I think, we would talk about like working men's clubs. I mean,
Yes.
Didn't Nigel Farage mention that recently? Like, what century are you fucking from? But again, we kind of talked about pubs being almost like a living room outside of your house,
Yeah.
where you would meet up with your friends. And I think that how people socialize because of social media and the internet changed that a lot. The generation that went to the pub basically retired and died. And it wasn't replaced by the kind of working class people, because retail jobs don't have that kind of regularity. People don't work in shifts, like masses of people coming in and masses of people leaving, you know, sort of like at the end of Hot Fuzz at the end of the day, like pub, you know, kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of factors behind it. But undoubtedly, you know, the commercialization and prepackaging, just like I'm sure McDonald's killed off a lot of local restaurants because people knew what they could get there. They didn't have to think about the menu or what the food was going to be like, because if you had it at one place, it's going to taste exactly the fucking same at every single place.
Yeah, pretty much. And someone else actually raises a very good point: the cheap booze available at supermarkets as well. Yeah. Which wasn't really a thing in the past. You had off licenses, but supermarkets didn't used to be able to sell booze.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it was sort of a cornered market where they could charge a lot more, and so it wasn't really as accessible. Whereas now you can get incredibly strong alcohol for next to nothing. Well, alcoholism's very cheap by comparison to what it used to be.
I think that kind of explains why in the States we don't have pubs, we have bars. But bars are kind of like grown-up playlands. You know, they put on sports games, and they've got pool tables, and they have dart machines, and you can't really have betting machines, but you can have these kind of like quiz machines, as well as the drinks and also some food, because it isn't like going to the living room outside of your house. It's not ever what it was meant to be, because we never really had that kind of culture. And you could always get booze. You just couldn't drink it outside without a brown bag around it.
Yes, indeed.
How groovy you are. So it's always mostly preoccupied by trying to improve what we're doing. We're very popular at the moment, and most of my career we have been. I had a spell when I wasn't quite so popular, which I didn't enjoy as much, but if people are friendly, which they are, it's brilliant.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree.
You don't need this many
data
fucking
analytics
mid-roll ads, man.
Unfortunately for Tim, not everyone is friendly.
When I first started working on this video, I put out a YouTube short asking people to leave comments telling me their thoughts on his pubs. And their comments were, as expected, something of a mixed bag.
There was a lot of support in there, but this was matched by a heap of hostility. As a further indication of how strongly people feel about Wetherspoons, whilst researching this video, I also came across an app which explicitly helps people avoid drinking at Wetherspoons.
Never spoons. Love it.
Pubs, and more than one broadly anti-spoons protest song.
And you won't ever see me playing Wetherspoons.
I love a good double bass.
Wetherspoons has always felt a little bit extra, and I think that one of the reasons for that is simply that Brits really love their pubs, and that's because they've been a part of our national life for a really long time. So, of them what I've done, I think that is probably one of the nicest Wetherspoons we're going to have gone to. Like, that felt,
What happened to his audio?
it was like listed there.
You want sorry?
What happened to his audio? Sounds like it's coming from the camera mic, not the...
Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
didn't turn on his lapel mic.
So, I think when you think of a kind of dream, what makes for a good Wetherspoons, that was probably it. Which maybe this is unfortunately going to be sort of downhill from there.
So some of the audio on the very early road trip sections of this video is going to be a little less than usual. I managed to miss
Hold it. Someone's been... Who's the editor in the room? Right here.
Yes.
It's a microphone whilst we were on the trip, and we lost the audio with that, and hopefully we've managed to recover quite a lot of it from the camera audio, but the system we've used to do so sometimes makes me sound a bit like a robot, so sorry about that. It'll get much better as the video goes on, I promise.
We won't make it that
So
far.
this is our
the bits we won't get
the next
to.
few days. When we last did a road trip video like this, we went in my Vauxhall Corsa, which it turns out not very comfortable. Also my wife needed it for work. So those two things combined meant we thought we'd hire a hire car. In a very early version of planning for this, we did consider trying to kind of get like an old-fashioned British car, because that felt like it tied into the theme of the video. We don't have the budget to hire like a old Austin or something, so we gave up on that idea. And then actually when I went to the car hire place to pick it up, we have ended up with a...
You what, sorry?
I'm ready for some funny shit.
Okay.
We made it almost 8 minutes.
From the... Oh, yeah, okay. I was like, that's just fucking rude. I thought this was quite entertaining. But you made funny shit as in from the Discord.
Yeah.
Christy sends me loads of stuff on the Discord, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll take a look at...
Yeah, how far back do you want to go? That's the question.
Christy, you know I throw it back very far.
All the way back.
True. I don't know. I'm just going to scroll back to...
Oh, I try to label them now so that, like I said, I have more of an idea of what they are when you read them out to me, as opposed to just random links.
Yeah. So this is Flogina Wishes. Okay. Well, we'll see what this is.
Baller or a shot caller. I drive a fucked up 04 Impala. My headlights don't work at night. My windows don't either, but that's alright. I hit the highway, but I gotta drive slowly, cause that bitch gon' overheat, yeah. I'm not a baller.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right? Better than Flogina.
I mean, true, but that's not difficult.
The guy just rapping about his car is so much more talented than Flogina.
True. Well, because he can rap.
Because he can rap.
Whereas Flogina cannot.
Nasty girl, nasty. I've been a nasty. Somebody come get her. She dancing like a shepherd. Remix. Somebody come get me. Cause now it's time for Rockies. Yeah, I've been a nasty girl.
Jesus Christ, Christy, what are you sending me? Fucking...
Did it make you laugh?
Well, yes. Yeah.
Literally the only criteria I have.
Fair enough.
My only criteria.
Okay, I'm gonna have that.
Look at the meme of the jamming in the background. Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Oh, the big dogs are getting divorced, and they're going out loud, they're going out proud. It's $250 million buyer's remorse. My billionaire daddies are fighting, and I don't know how I should feel. Will the custody, a little baby JD, still roll on over to Peter Thiel? My billionaire daddies are fighting. Yeah, it's something that you'd never expect. Turns out the enemy of your enemy ain't a friend, he's just a stepping stone over the left. But he'll be pointing his money pretty soon, I'll bet, at anybody over there who will take a check. These billionaire types are persistent. Yeah, they're used to getting what they want.
Those fucking bugs are really loud. Jesus Christ.
Oh, behind him?
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
the cicadas or whatever,
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it may sound wild, they're a little entitled. Then again, I've never walked a mile in their yacht. No, it's never been a problem before. But now that he's getting dismissed, the first buddy's concerned and thinks we all need to learn. The commander-in-chief's on Epstein's list. My billionaire dad.
Oh yeah, so even though he outed him as a nonce, he's now like back on the Trump train or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the board members slapped him around a little bit and said, you need to sort this out.
Yeah, like, we all saw that, Elon.
Mm-hmm.
You can delete it, you bitch. But like,
not from our memories.
But we all saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Daddies are fighting, and I wonder what'll happen next. First the man became meme, now in the final scene he's gonna need to put an E in front of the X.
Yay! That's pretty good. Yeah,
It's good,
that was
isn't it?
nice. That was proper poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is this?
Against everybody who's been in any of my series. If you have long identical stretches, that means you're cousins.
Oh, I have some cousins?
Yep.
I hope it's a good athlete.
What the hell? You're kidding.
It's your DNA against...
What the fuck?
They're cousins, distant cousins.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah.
But I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? They both have a similar stature.
You're so anti-Semitic, Christo.
They're
Well,
cousins.
all
They're
Jewish
physically
people are related. Is that what you're saying?
No, he did. You didn't miss it. He ran that Larry David's DNA against everyone else who's ever been on his show. And if there are long stretches of sequences that are similar, it means you're cousins.
Yeah.
And Larry David and Bernie Sanders are cousins.
Yeah. So you're saying that all Jews are the same? Yeah, I know. Christy, don't react like that's a real thing I'm saying. Jesus. Anyway.
She's the reason for the word, bitch. Hope she's speeding on her way to the club, trying to hurry up and get to a baller.
Oh, this takes me back to my childhood.
Why, you know the song?
And crash into a ditch. Just playing. Yeah, I know the fucking song.
Bang up somebody like that and try to put on the makeup in the mirror and crash into a ditch.
Just playing.
For legal reasons, that song is a joke.
You what, sorry?
For legal reasons, that song is a joke.
That is a song. That is a joke, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a song Roses by what were they called again?
I have never heard that
Outcast.
before. Oh, really?
Yeah. It was the follow up to Hey Ya that wasn't quite as successful.
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, Christy, you're just not down with the black people music so much, are you?
The black people music.
The black people music, that's what it's called, Christy. I don't know what you're talking about. You're not as hip as me from 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wasn't that like early, like 2005 something?
Some shit like that, yeah.
Oh, this one you have to read out loud. Yeah.
Okay, so this one is...
Oh, this is just... Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I feel this report from Prussian cops spying on Marx. I feel it in my soul. Oh, this is about him being like a bit of a tramp, right?
And I said, yeah, it was basically you're actually like Marx.
Yeah. He leads the existence of a real bohemian intellectual. Washing, grooming, and changing his linens are things he does rarely. What the fuck, Christy?
Keep going.
I bathe regularly. How dare you?
Change your sheets.
That's between me and Jesus. And he likes to get drunk. Okay, that's fair enough. Though he is often idle for days on end, he will work day and night with tireless endurance when he has a great deal of work to do. He has no fixed times for going to sleep and waking up. Okay, you got me there. He often stays up all night and then lies down fully clothed on the sofa at midday and sleeps till evening, untroubled by the comings and goings of the whole world. Yeah, that is kind of, yeah, okay. That's mostly me, yes. To be fair, Krista. I wouldn't say that I am Marx, though. Because Marx is dead, loser.
That's true. That's a big difference between you and he.
Exactly. What we got? Ooh.
Now by the Oracle on everything, Kitty Flanagan. Now, Kitty, should I be worried about my job?
Well, if you keep calling me Clitty, you should, yeah.
Clitty. That must have happened before, right? She must have got that before.
That felt like a little bit of Saturday Night Live roasting, you know.
A little bit.
When they make each other read when they make each other read each other's jokes. Oh, you'll like this one.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Long about a Saturday night. Yeah. Rub-a-dub, just relaxing in the tub. Thinking everything was alright.
Is he gonna swim? Oh no, hang on, what's up?
Put my feet on the floor.
Ah, dickhead! Pig in the drink!
Splish splash, I jumped back in the bath. Well, how was I to know there was a party going on? There was a splishing and a splash, and reeling with the feel, and moving and a groove, and rocking and a rolling.
I was about to be like, who the fuck's this Uncle Tom prick going and having the fucking cuppa?
He's like, no, I want a shot. Then when you figure out, push.
Bitch. Love
I
it.
thought you'd like that one.
That was good. I did enjoy that one profusely. What is this? Oh, that's literally the same thing you just fucking watched, Kev. What is that?
I think you sent me one just before the show. It says I have
You
to
sent me a
read out
couple, yeah. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Girlhood versus boyhood.
That's what happened.
Oh, right in the bollocks. Oh no. Oh, I missed that first time round.
You're looking at the ladies dancing.
Yeah. I was like, what? I expected it to be like, oh, there are two different things that are, they're going to come up one after the other, and I was incorrect about that assumption. I apologise. So I have to read this out, do I? This one.
Yeah.
Scottish Twitter remains undefeated. Okay. Every time I go to a coffee shop, I think about the time last summer when I asked for a latte with oat milk, and the poor lad behind the counter somehow managed to say, with a straight face, sir, I am sorry, I can't make a latte with oat milk." Amazing. Amazing. That is brilliant. My favourite one was the what was it? They went into like one of these coffee shops and they ordered like 6 drinks, and they're like, "Oh, do you need one of those carry carton things with it?" And he went, "Yeah, I'm not an octopus." What a response that is! Imagine that.
True.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, you're not an octopus. That does check out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to Wetherspoons, I guess. Spoons.
Some massive SUV, just like the US go for you. And with that, our grand pub crawl across the length of the UK began in earnest. The first step was to escape from Helston, which would have been much easier had I not driven past the village where several generations of my family lived and decided to go on a fanciful and ultimately fruitless attempt to see whether I could find any of their graves. Which, is exactly the kind of thing we had bags of time to be doing on this road trip and would have no consequences later on.
We are just driving through dark country lanes now.
Co-pilot,
You
analyze
don't
this
need
budget
this
report.
many
Tell me
ads.
what questions we should expect on our call.
Thomas.
Eventually, however, I got my head back in the game and we managed to find the route out of Cornwall.
Here we are, the A30 East, and this will pretty
The
much
fucking
be
roads.
us.
The roads in the southwest of England are mental. Rather than follow the contours of the, hills and stuff, they just go, no, as the bird flies, do a straight line. So it's like 10 times longer because you're just going up and down hills, making very little forward progress.
Except when you're going up and you're going down.
You what? Sorry.
Elevation-wise, you're making and losing progress
What are you talking about?
because you're going up and down.
Yeah.
So elevation-wise, you're making
Well,
progress.
you're right, but I'm not in a plane, so the elevation is not the concern. I want to be forward from the
just
place
saying,
that I
it's
was.
Yeah, how you measure progress, really.
Yes, I mean that's a very optimistic way of looking at it, Christy. Yes. Yeah. It's the old joke about the guy who loses a leg, and he goes, "Well, it's going to be only cost you half as much to buy shoes now."
Oh god,
Yeah.
it's like those two guys who are talking across the table, and one guy says, "If Americans smile, do Europeans kilometer?"
Hey. Yes.
Also, I think they're the same guys who go, "Okay, I'm going to snap my fingers, and you're going to forget that you were gay." And he was like, "I was never gay. See, it worked."
Exactly.
No, I'm not gay. Yeah, see.
Yeah, it won't. Yeah.
So, as long as I don't see any interesting cemeteries along the way. Here we go. Okay.
So the first time we get anything that sort of resembles a pub in the UK is really when the Romans first came to Britain. And they did bring us many great things, and pubs was one. And this came really as a tavern, and it was
Exactly, but apart from the pubs and the sewage and the
the
drainage
wine,
and
and
the
the peace.
safe streets and all that, what have the Romans ever done for us? Healthcare? Oh, fuck off.
They are to provide the army and the army's accompaniers with wine.
This is Amy Rankine, a PhD researcher at
Uptown
Queen
Top
Margaret
Rankine.
University in Edinburgh. A keen forager and occasional brewer, her research focuses on the cultural and political significance of beer.
Yeah, I'm kind of very entrenched in academic beer.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it, right? It's a hard...
This then evolved into something we then called the alehouse. This is a place you would go specifically to drink and to socialise. At the same time, we start to get inns, and the sort of difference is the inn is a place you would stop to rest, but you would also have something to drink when you were there. And so, yeah, 1800s, we finally get what we call a public house, and this is where this word sort of pub comes from. So we begin with taverns, we evolve into sort of alehouses and inns, and we end up with public houses.
So I think it's worth establishing nice and early on exactly what a pub is. Because particularly if you're watching from outside the UK, I think it might be unclear exactly what separates a pub specifically from other kinds of bar, restaurant or cafe. Fortunately for us, over the past few...
A pub is the kind of place where if you want to go into the men's toilets, you take your life into your own hands. You will catch a lot of diseases. You might get stabbed. You might get bombed. You just never know.
Years, a highly influential campaign group called the Campaign for Real Ale, who advocate for beer and for pubs, have published something of an official definition.
As CAMRA define it, a pub is a licensed premises, meaning that it has a license to serve alcohol, which is open to the public without anyone having to pay an entrance fee, has at least one beer or cider on tap, allows customers to drink without requiring them to buy food, and at which you can order at the bar rather than waiting for someone to come to your table.
Now, all of these attributes might feel a little bit weird or random, but if you're from the UK or live here, there's an extent to which, if any of these particular ingredients are missing, a pub just kind of ceases to feel...
Yeah, that wouldn't... Yeah, without any of those things.
It's a restaurant if you can't order at the bar.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to pay a membership to go drink somewhere.
Yeah, if they don't have a fucking beer on tap, in what aspect is it even a pub?
Exactly.
Like, that's just an off license if it's selling you bottles
There's
and
just
nothing else.
When I need an example of necessary and sufficient conditions.
Indeed.
In the future, my future lectures.
Yes.
Like a pub.
Brits like to think we're good at queuing, but you'll never see a human being more impatient than when a Brit finds themselves abroad in a bar, having to wait for someone to come to their table to order a drink. It just feels wrong.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
What? No.
No.
That's true. No.
It's too late. What, do I owe you something now? Do I have to repay you in kind? Like, what is this? No, I go to the bar when I want to drink. Why do you have to guess when I want to drink? It doesn't make sense. Foreigners. That's why we need to invade everywhere and force our cultural norms on them. It's the only thing that makes sense, Christy. You know it's true.
This has helped to establish the pub as just a really important social space in British culture. It's kind of what you might have heard described of as a third space, a space that is not work.
That's what I said.
And yet is still really important for people's sense of community and identity. In the UK, the pub is very much the default version of that. So trying to now...
Yeah, up until relatively recently, up until like the last 20 years, I suppose, pubs sort of defined the very, very localist sort of unit of social cohesion. Like, the people who drank in X pub were kind of a social group, whereas the people who drank in a pub 200 yards down the road were different. Even though obviously they're not, because you all live on the same fucking road. What are you talking about? But it was like a cultural signifier.
But, yeah, I mean, local pubs, they all had their own vibe.
Yeah.
And you kind of either vibed with that pub, or you like found one that more suited your vibe.
Well, yeah, and then you had obviously the genuinely political things, because you had Conservative and Labour clubs. Mm-hmm. I mean, you still do, but they're much, much rarer now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, every town or every part of a town would have a Labour club. And you didn't necessarily have to be a member, but like it was sort of generally spoken that the people who were in there were kind of more left-wing socialist type people. And you had Conservative clubs. The Liberals tried to cop on with that, and no one gave a shit. No, your party is dead. Go away. You know.
Navigate without sat-nav has already been a bit of a challenge.
In fact, navigating without the sat-nav would continue to be a challenge throughout the trip. But while we drive on through Cornwall to Devon, let me rewind for a moment.
As friends Rust, you are both a Mancunian and a lover of live music. I can't believe that all pubs are shit to you, surely.
What? Oh yeah, where are you gonna go for like music if not
Exactly,
for like...
yeah. That's like there are loads of great fucking dive bars and shit.
Well, here's a question: pub, tavern, bar.
Very little difference, really. It's more vibe, I suppose.
Yeah, because I would never. I mean, at a local pub, I guess I wouldn't ever expect there to be live music because they don't even have a television on. You know, they have music playing. At least the ones that I visited.
That's one of the kind of critiques I think of the Wetherspoons sort of enforcement of absolute kind of corporate sameness. Because obviously in lots of pubs you have like TV on, or you have music playing, or you have a band or whatever, right? Whereas in Wetherspoons you have none of that. It's literally like you don't have any of those things, which was fine when like only half the pubs were Wetherspoons, because you could just go to a different place if you wanted a different vibe. Whereas in some parts of cities, basically Wetherspoons is all you have.
That's it, yeah.
So you don't get to go and watch the game. Like if you want to go and watch the football, you have to fucking go to a pub miles away.
Yeah, get a bus.
Yeah, or drive drunk. Always an option. I'm just saying, it's an option, Christo. We've been through this, haven't we? One in 5 accidents are caused by drunk drivers. Which
yes,
means
the rest are by sober.
4 out of 5 are by people who haven't been drinking. They're the real threat. Okay? Yeah, so you basically, it's taking away the option to want to go and watch a live sporting event, or watch a live band, or even just hear music. You know? Now you have to go and listen to people. And the people in Wetherspoons are fucking insufferable.
The worst thing about Wetherspoons is people.
Yeah, exactly.
I can explain a little bit about my game plan for the day ahead.
So as we were planning this, and the initial plan was just to drive the length of the country going to Wetherspoons, and sort of planning where we stopped. That felt like it wasn't really getting across the variety of Wetherspoons if you knew where we were going, and also just the sheer like the dominance of them across the country if we'd already planned it, right? What we did think is, what if we didn't really plan it, and I had to navigate via map, and therefore, you know, it becomes a little bit more difficult. We're more likely to end up in unexpected situations, and therefore have...
Yeah, this is some shit that a YouTube essayist does. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really padding it out. Yeah. I mean, it's pleasant enough to watch, but yeah, you kind of like, you're changing the thing midway, and yeah.
To stumble across
it's fine.
unexpected
It's content.
So let me introduce you to the map of the Spooniverse.
What the
This is a road map of the entirety of Great Britain, if not the whole UK. I don't know if Northern Ireland is in here. And painstakingly, over the last week or so, first Georgia and then I have been putting blue spots for every single Wetherspoons in the country.
Jesus Christ.
1, 2, 3. Why wouldn't you just
and also
do
red spots for any Wetherspoons.
You what, sorry?
It's going to be hard to, again, I mean, I understand that he's going to put a lot of dots down, but if you don't see it on that map as the whole, a graphic of the whole country, I hope that's coming next, so you could just see all the blue dots.
Oh, they're everywhere, yeah.
Wetherspoons Hotel, because remember, we're also going to stay in Wetherspoons Hotels. The goal is to solely use this map, the map of the Spooniverse, to navigate. Downside of this map is that it's relatively zoomed in. I think this is one of the most zoomed in maps of the entire country you can get before you have to get parts of the country. And we sort of felt like we needed that because we needed to not only know that like Haverfordwest here has a Wetherspoons, but at least vaguely where within the town it is. The challenge is that you can't zoom out, obviously, because paper, and therefore actually tracking across the whole country is quite difficult. Fortunately, earlier on we found this Wetherspoons News, which has all of the hotels in, which is also good because that's where we need to get for each day. So the goal, I think, is
that's just the hotels. That's not even the pubs. Yeah, that's quite a lot.
To get just here, slightly north of Bristol. Tomorrow to try and get to as far north in England as we can, so that on day 3, we've just got to drive through Scotland, which has more
is that all?
Wetherspoons than this, but it only has a few hotels. Earlier on, getting to this cluster of hotels, which both gets us to hotels, but also gets to a range of them should they be busy, felt super achievable. Now,
with Google Workspace, you can create a Gmail account with your own.
It's feeling like it might be a bit more
well,
of a
if you're going to do
challenge.
shows with content, with videos, yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It is.
So, let's head on, shall we?
Well, I read, I think, that 50% of people in the 70s met their partner in a pub. Now that's changing a fair bit.
My parents met in a pub.
Really?
They did.
Hmm.
Drunken idiots. Just
But
saying. They made 3 mistakes. Me and my 2 brothers.
It's an idea of one aspect of it. Pubs have got a lot to answer for, people might say. So I think it's somewhere everyone can go.
When you have somewhere like a small village, when you're rural, the pub becomes really important as this sort of centre of the community, this sort of heart of the village. And I feel like this decline in religion that we now have, less people are going to church, where the church might be the social kind of cohesion for the village, so therefore the pub can be. So it still gives you this place where people can be together.
By now, we were making excellent progress, and with Cornwall well and truly in the rearview mirror, we decided to make a quick pit stop at Exeter Services. Not to
I'm going to be in Exeter.
Eating.
Is that Wetherspoons here, sir? Or are you breaking your own rules?
He is breaking his own rules now by looks
would have been very much forbidden. But I need.
Did you say you were in Exeter?
No, I will be in September for a
nice.
conference.
Are you just doing the tour of the southwest of England now?
Yeah.
Torquay, perhaps?
Bristol, yeah, I'm doing a conference in
Truro.
Bristol. Yeah, I'm going on vacation in London too in August. So
Nice.
yeah, I'll be
Needed
there
to
3
decide
times,
where it-
4 times this year.
Why?
Well, I was there for my birthday.
This is not the Brexit we voted for, allowing Germans in.
Two conferences and then another holiday at the end of the summer.
You can do better than us, Christo.
I like London. I
Yeah,
enjoy
but what about if a nuclear bomb falls on it?
Yeah, well, I'm staying outside of it. I'm staying near Forest Gate
I don't know.
underground stop. So not. I'll just have all my skin burned off. It's fine.
Well, you wanted to lose weight.
Yeah, and the fat will melt right off me.
Exactly, yeah, and you won't even feel it. It'll be fine. Yeah. Ozempic, no. Nuclear bombing, yes.
Yes.
Stop for lunch. After a little look through the map of the Spooniverse, my eyes were drawn to a beautiful blue dot in Wellington, and we decided that would be where we'd make our stop.
Yeah, that's right. We do have a town called Wellington, Americans, and what of it?
Beef Wellington.
Exactly. We are a sensible country for sensible people. You will respect us.
The rest of the drive to Wellington was fairly uneventful, given that I had the benefit of knowing the area. So we parked up in the town centre car park, left the town centre car park, returned to the town centre car park when I realised I hadn't paid for the parking, and then set off once again in search of Spoons number 2.
So I have actually been here before on this corner, and this is going to be Wetherspoons number 2.
Is this lunch?
You what, sorry?
Is lunch?
For lunch, yes.
Okay.
It looks a fancier one than usual as well.
I am very hungry though at this point. It turns out that £3.50 breakfast we have or something has found its limit. And I think I might go curry.
After an occasionally slow start, my lovely tikka masala and pint felt well and truly deserved. And I was feeling pretty optimistic about the journey ahead. Little did I know quite how difficult finding that night's Wetherspoons hotel would be.
Is this where the commercial break happens?
Wetherspoons
Sponsored by?
first entered the pub.
You what, sorry?
I thought this was going to be sponsored by Google Maps.
Yeah, which would be ironic considering they're not using Google Maps. Look at that. London.
Yeah.
A long time ago, by the looks of it.
Why?
Because the camera quality is fucking awful. It
That
looks
might
like
just
it's
be
from
the air quality.
60s or 70s, I think. No, I think so as well. There's a lot less clutter. Where's the... Yeah. For instance, Christy, where is the embankment-y bit on the right there? It
I was
isn't
going
there.
to say, but what about the lack of traffic? That's also from the congestion charge.
Or just the fact that this is from the 60s and no one had a car.
Pub scene in 1979, when it opened Martin's Free House in Muswell Hill in London. But it's important to be clear that this very much isn't a story of Wetherspoon bursting onto the scene as a big corporate behemoth and drowning out small independents. At least not initially.
See, prior to the 1990s, most pubs in the UK were actually owned by breweries.
Some were directly managed by breweries themselves, with staff hired in, whilst others were let out to landlords. But either way, pubs were usually forced to only sell beer brewed by the breweries which owned the building.
If you took North London, for example, it was dominated by 4 or 5 big brewers, and there were very few individually owned pubs. So the beer selection was quite narrow. It tended to be the pubs that brewer brewed. So you couldn't get Abbott, you couldn't get Ruddles County in London, you couldn't get Young's Special Bitter, a South London beer in North London. So it was a more restricted choice.
In fact, it was more than a restricted choice, it was an outright beer oligopoly.
By 1986, the so-called Big Six breweries outright owned 45% of all pubs in the UK. But their control over the market went far beyond this. A report by the UK's Monopolies and Mergers Commission, published in 1989, estimated that 90% of British pubs were subject to some kind of contractual restriction on who they were allowed to buy beer from. This was a great scenario for breweries, who could effectively charge what they liked, but at the direct expense of both landlords and customers.
When JD Wetherspoon pubs first started appearing in North London then, it was spooned with...
But what about the free market? Why didn't the free market solve all of these problems?
Yeah, come on, capitalism. Where are you when we need you?
The invisible hand! Oh
Wait,
no,
it's almost like
fucking
capitalism
fisting
drifts
me.
toward monopoly all the time because it's the most efficient form of market control.
Indeed.
Which was the plucky young challenger to the great corporate monopolies. If you look outside most Wetherspoons pubs, you'll find that they proudly describe themselves as free houses, a designation which celebrates the fact that they are free from brewery control.
And as we keep trucking along the M5, let's just rewind back to Wellington for a moment to see where we decided to stay that
I should
night.
tell you a little story. So I had a friend from the States, and this idea of limited beers in a bar just doesn't exist there. And I was taking him around Cologne, and we decided to stop off at I don't know if it was a Gaffel restaurant, brewery, like Brauhaus or Fru, but we were inside. And he's like, where's the beer section? We flipped to the back of the menu. And I'm like, yeah, you can get Kolsch. You can get Kolsch with Sprite, or you can get alcohol-free Kolsch. And he's like, where's the rest of the beer? I'm like, what do you mean? This is a Fru Brauhaus.
Yeah.
You only get Fru beer here. Go to a Gaffel, you only get Gaffel. He's like, I don't understand. Where are the rest of the beers? You only serve one kind of beer here?
Yeah.
Like, do you go to McDonald's and order a Whopper? No, they only make Big Macs and McDonald's stuff. It's the same thing. It just blew his mind. Completely blew his mind. He thought it was
Americans are very, you have to have 20,000 choices of
yes,
everything.
Always, of everything.
Yeah.
And sugar-free and fat-free as well, ideally.
Lunch is done now. We're kind of dinner. It's 4:53, and the hope now is to book one of these hotels. And I think I'm going to start by looking up Tewkesbury.
Okay, let me just clarify a little bit about what I'm yapping on about in the pub there. So we are currently in Wellington in Somerset, and in order to make it to Scotland by the end of day 3, we ideally need to be north of Bristol by the end.
You what, sorry?
He's not gonna make it at this pace.
No, very much so.
Why don't you plan this out and book in advance? I guess that wouldn't That would be too me.
No, you need suspense, Christy. Look how much of the country he's covered in one day. Nothing. Literally nothing.
Like not even the ball sack.
Yeah, he's not even north of London after one day. Fucking hell.
Now,
I don't know why he's bothering
as the
to stay
back
in a
of the
hotel.
Wetherspoons news that we found
He's been
earlier.
driving all night at this point.
Yeah, there's two of you. There's a cameraman. You could just
Take it in shifts.
Yeah, 5 hours on, 5 hours off. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Told us there is a spot just north of Bristol where there is a cluster of 4 separate Wetherspoons hotels. And
That's near me.
this seemed like a pretty good region to shoot for. It means that if any of those individual hotels don't have any rooms, there's a few more to choose from. Although we still do need one of them to have some rooms.
If you don't know where to start in Top Heroes World, the
by
Springland
the
is
way,
a great place to
I had
start.
to do an
There are
order
low-level
delivery, so just to let you know, my doorbell's going to ring in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll need to dip out, but I'll come back.
No problem. Okay. Hello there, Sister Rose. Everyone,
Hey.
go and follow Sister Rose immediately, and give me money. I need lots of money, chat, because I am
Money.
very poor. Oh, you didn't.
Oh,
I got.
there we go.
Oh, okay. Christy's
That's
gone.
fast.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Okay, Christy will be back in a minute. I was about to tell Christy that I got banned for a week, but she's walked away. Oh no. Play this immediately. What is this?
Love spoons, pull the tap, give me a pint. I love spoons, I'm gonna be here off the night. Have a shot, have a straight, double up, yeah, good one, mate. Tell your bird you'll be home late, cause the spoons is fucking quick. I love spoons. I love...
Fair enough, I guess. Thank you for that spoons-related interjection, Sister Rose. Use the dono to buy premium. I might do that non-binary, although I can't promise because I will forget. But thank you, yes. Yeah. Spoons or keys? I don't know what that means, Baron von Cockslap. What does that mean? What is this? This is cat-related content. Kitten vision. Bun, loaf, pretzel, bagel, croissant. Oh, baguette. Love it. They have a name, you can't just call them by their gender identity. Oh. Who? What? I don't know what that means. But thank you. Thank you for the bits, Baron von Cockslap, by the way. Much love. I don't know what Christy is. Are you back? I don't know what she's doing. Should we just listen to her? A very odd ASMR. Be funny if she farted really loud. I don't know what the fuck she's doing.
Why is it paused?
Because we were listening to you. I was hoping you'd fart really loudly, thinking no one would hear, but you didn't.
You hear me speaking German in the distance?
9! No, I didn't know. No. Anyway, I was going to explain to you just before you left. I was banned for a week from Twitch.
Oh, what did you do this time, Kevin? Partner push 2025.
I did the start of Pride. I thought I'd do a little joke, so I put the stream title as "No Straights Allowed," and apparently this was hate speech. And then I wanted to do, when they let me back on after a week, I was going to do, okay, some straights allowed, and make it into a negotiation, but I didn't want to tempt fate.
So this guy spent time with his straight. I know not everyone's perfect and fine, but he did send me an Insta at the start of Pride Month.
Yes.
Which was a picture of a pride flag on a pole, and it says
Now, when you say on a pole, do you mean on...
Not a Polish person.
Not a Polish person. Okay, right.
No, on a stick.
Okay.
Yeah, but one designed to hold up flags.
Yes.
And it said, "I'm like the pole that holds up the pride flag. I'm straight, and I will support you." I'm like, aww.
I mean, ironically, the gayest thing ever said. Just saying.
Yeah.
They look interesting. Yeah, they look like old hymns. Is this going to be...
Should we skip forward to the point where they have good audio? Because that's annoying.
Yeah.
That's very annoying. We'll go through to 31 minutes. Oh my god.
Excuse me a sec, can I have a moment of your time, please? What is it? Okay, wonderful. Have you had a car on PCP or HP?
Oh, hang on. No, I want to... Hang on. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, now you look like. All right, I'm just not gonna say anything.
Flattering.
Not gonna say anything. That's the view you get.
Yeah. You dirty Bertie.
This pub, the Hourglass Inn. We took this pub just over 3 years ago. I've been drinking in this pub for about 25 years, and honestly, I've always said that in my view, it's the best pub in Exeter. I still hold by that view. I just happen to be the incumbent at the moment.
This is Alan Collier. Alan is the managing director of both Exeter Brewery and the Hourglass Inn, a short 10-minute drive from the Imperial where I spoke to Tim. Where the Imperial is one of just over 800 Wetherspoon pubs, however, the Hourglass is now proudly independent.
Yeah, all right.
Alan
I'm gonna go
intervening to say...
You sorry?
When I go to Exeter, I'm gonna go there.
Cool.
Save it from closure in 2021.
I can't honestly see the pub having ever closed properly because it is quite a popular pub. What I think may have happened, it might have fallen into the wrong hands. I think it's a pub that needs to be preserved as it is, and somebody that understands how it works. And I have the benefit of being a long-standing customer here. I think the pub is a tremendous force for good. Its importance socially, culturally, can't be overstated. And the people that come in for a drink or two, I think, personally, I think any damage that little bit of alcohol might do is well outweighed by the fact that they come in and they can...
I love these little cutaways, which is blatantly hit. There's no one there. Look, you can see in the reflection in his glasses, there is not a person sat opposite him. But you've got to make it look like this is a two, you know. Yeah, okay.
Enjoy some time with some friends, depressurize, as it were, after work or whatever. And we here, in combination with the brewery, same as lots of pubs, we get very involved in our local community. We do charitable things for people. We have a lovely street fair here in the road every year.
In today's climate, running any kind of pub, whether independent or a chain, is incredibly difficult.
Just look at this chart. In 1980, the UK had 69,000 pubs.
Nice!
That's one for every 816 people. By 2021, that number had fallen to fewer than 47,000, a per capita decline of nearly 44%.
There are plenty of intersecting reasons for these closures.
One cause is the rise of the large supermarket chains, which, since the 1990s, have often used booze as a loss leader, selling big slabs of cans for below cost in order to entice people through the door.
Trust me, I know. My university days were spent carrying crates of lager for unbelievably cheap prices and nothing else. It may have been a loss leader in general, but it was just a loss with us.
Yeah, what, you're an octopus.
Yeah, I was a fucking octopus.
Carrying all those...
No, they'd be in like a plastic, you know, literally like in a kind of crate thing, yeah.
With the knowledge that they'll make their money back on the rest of the shop.
For reasons which are obscure, pubs have been put at an enormous tax disadvantage with supermarkets, which pushes the price of beer up in pubs relative to supermarkets. So when I started in the pub trade, 90% of beer was sold in pubs. It's now 43%, and the rest is sold in supermarkets.
I think the fact that the supermarkets sell booze very, very cheaply, and there is no control on that. We all know.
Exactly. Like, honestly, minimum pricing.
Yeah.
It needs to happen for a number of reasons. Firstly, so that, you know, actual pubs can compete, because again, the free market is not helping. And secondly, it's been shown that it actually helps with alcoholism.
Oh, because it's not so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it more difficult to be alcoholic or to slip into
like
alcoholism.
The taxes on cigarettes.
Yeah, like it's not a catch-all situation, but if we can save some people from going into that, that's awesome. Cool. Thank you, Over the Historian, for gifting a sub to Alex Roivas.
Aw, how nice.
You could go into a supermarket and the first thing in the door is a huge stack of beers. So cheap. So when people stop coming to the pubs, part of that, I would suggest, is that they see the contrast between the price of a pint in a bar as opposed to their supermarket price, and there's a massive difference. So I think that probably drives people away a bit.
Good morning. Welcome to Great Malvern, which I imagine when I open the curtains and head out is going to be absolutely gorgeous. However, I have woken up with quite a sort of blocked breathing system from all of the air conditioning we've been having to use in the hot weather. So we'll see how that goes today. I've slept pretty well, I think. Pretty comfy bed, pretty temperate room, etc. Nice facilities. I only wish that I'd had a little bit longer to sleep, to be honest.
I was playing football and I was having to wear kids' shoes. I decided to set up a company to change things. IDA is a women's football boot company. We make performance footwear for women, enabling girls to play without barriers.
Can I issue a fatwa against all of these companies?
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband.
So you can't do double adverts on me.
They're everywhere now.
You fucking pricks.
Oh, yeah, $13.99 a month in euros.
Good morning and welcome to Malvern, which is as gorgeous in the daytime as you were hoping. You can, if you look up here, you can see.
But it's really annoying because that's what YouTube want, and it's very fuck off.
Wonderful hill. I mean, I'm glad I'm not climbing, but like in theory, I'm sure would be lovely. In practice, a challenge, particularly given that. So 2 days ago was the hottest day in April the UK's ever had. I read in the news today it could hit 30 this week, which there'll be Americans watching who are like, oh my god, it's always higher than that.
It was 33 here today.
UK just is not designed for that.
It was what, sorry?
33.
That is too hot.
It's fine.
It's too hot. No, it's not. It's no.
If you're not in the sun, it's better.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. But unfortunately, sometimes the sun exists, and that's... No,
yeah.
No. My body is not designed for so much aircon in the car either. That is slowly killing me. We are here in West
It doesn't
Malvern.
sound good.
We need to get back to the M5. We are about to head off for breakfast. Quite a late breakfast. We were running a bit late today. And the plan is to get back to the M5 and then just go northbound and to come off at Junction 5 for Bromsgrove.
Yeah, that's near me.
Onto the A38. Off Junction 5 towards Bromsgrove. I guess drive into Bromsgrove town centre and hopefully the Wetherspoons will present itself to us. That is good because it sort of gets us vaguely in the direction we're going. We need to make big moves today. So there are sort of two options for where we end up this evening. So one is Newcastle upon Tyne. The backup option, if we can't get there, is that we go to somewhere called Thirsk, which I now cannot remember, but that is like nowhere near as north. The main challenges we have is that there is something of a spoons desert, we've been calling it, on the west side of the country.
Spoons desert.
Both the pubs themselves.
Yeah, that's sort of like heaven, I think, would be a spoons desert.
To eat at. but also definitely for hotels. There are also
From
like
the Middle
no
East as
hotels
Iran
between
launches
Newcastle
retaliatory
and then
strikes
getting up into Scotland. So it's very much like we have to get there. I think I'm right in saying that if we were taking direct route, if we were navigating by sat-nav, probably be 4.5, 5 hours. We're probably going to have some additional time on that because we're probably going to get lost a bit.
Right. Let me take a moment to explain the Spoons Desert. As well established by, well, the fact I even thought this challenge was possible, Wetherspoons are pretty much every...
Oh, God. Iran has launched ballistic missiles at Israel in response. Explosions in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
Oh, that's not good.
At least 5 injured in the Tel Aviv area, according to the ambulance service. Oh, well, okay, so World War III, awesome.
Well, at least we get to watch a video on the spoons.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just bury our head in some spoons-related nonsense.
Mm.
Because it's not like we can do anything.
Oh, not from
Where in the UK?
Not from where we are.
The northwest of England, however, has something of what we've been calling a Spoons Desert, which creates a bit of a problem. See, the logical route for us to take from Cornwall to Scotland would take us directly through northwest England. But the combination of the national parks of the Lake District, the Yorkshire Dales and the Pennines means there are far fewer spoons and basically no convenient hotels, which means that we need to track over towards the east coast where we've got a few more options. The added challenge is that...
Note that they've skirted Birmingham there.
Why? Don't you have spoons?
Well, we have loads of spoons, but presumably the traffic would slow them down tremendously. So that little bulge where they turn right and go around, that's what's called the M42. It is the ring road.
I've never really driven over in this part of the country. But that's a problem for a little bit later.
There we go.
There have been several broader cultural shifts which have kept people away from pubs in recent decades.
Many people now get a lot of their community online rather than in person. You can even find love on your phone. If not, there's plenty of TV and TikToks to be catching up with. Why bother going all the way to the pub to get questionable...
No. Is he doing an advert? Is this an advert?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know,
it
is it?
Life advice when you can just whack a podcast on.
And all of this alongside...
Oh, it sounded like he was starting an advert, but he isn't. There's no advert
he's
there.
Just commenting on life.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. He's. You know what he's advertising? Truth.
A much broader rise in individualism, in which community and going out and meeting new people is often viewed as an annoying inefficiency in our lives. The downturn in pub attendance, which these trends have all contributed to, has often combined with the rising cost of rents and fuel, and even the rising cost of beer itself, to fuel a vicious cycle, in which fewer people coming through the door each evening necessitates landlords raising prices to make up for it, which in turn leads to fewer people coming through the door each evening, and so on and so on.
It's funny, I was reading an article just at the weekend about how the price of a pint was going to go over the £5 for the first time, and as somebody who regularly drinks in Edinburgh, I just wasn't that like 6 years ago?
I think there are many reasons. I think a lot of things over the last sort of decade or so, things that have happened, all happen to go against the pub trade, right back to, the smoking ban, for example.
Oh, Fogel, that is delightful. Fogel is my resident Austrian who said, perfect pronunciation, Gab, I'm impressed. How many times has Christy said it to me? If I couldn't pronounce that one word in German, I'm a bit fucked.
Oh, sorry, I had to blow my nose and I muted myself. Can you repeat that? What did Virgo say?
Perfect pronunciation, I'm impressed, because I said Gesundheit.
Oh,
which
yeah.
Apparently is impressive. I can also say the town that Christy lives in. Köln!
Köln.
That's how you say it.
Köln. You gotta get that.
I think
That's
probably
just
had a little
Scottish.
hit.
Yeah.
Quite rightly.
That's just punching someone in the stomach.
A Scottish person.
Yeah.
Driving, obviously COVID. Certainly we're in for a rough ride in the next few months, I think, because minimum wage is going up again, national insurance is changing, and pubs are small businesses. We don't have surplus staff. So we can't just say, like one of the big guys can say, oh, we'll just get rid of 10% of the workforce. That isn't possible in a tiny business.
So that is a much cooler riff than deserves to be in a video about spoons. That was fucking cool.
Spoons is vaguely
It's like our wheel
on the map. Not that close, but that's at least something we can get to with a little bit of a waypoint. We saw a sign to it, but that was a little while ago. I think our best bet is to walk up here and try and cut through. We think there's a pedestrianised bit from what we can see from the road.
They have a shop called Vape Daddy, which is okay.
So we're running a little bit late this morning, so the plan is just to get something really quick here to kind of tick it off and then crack on back onto the road and have lunch earlier. I think I'm going to go for like a smashed avocado thing.
Yeah, the fact that bloke was complaining about having to pay the minimum wage, like,
yeah,
tough shit, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Like COVID, okay, fair play, but like, tough.
Yeah.
I was on my phone to my wife yesterday evening saying that we got there, and she was like, "Do you like drinking in pubs?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sort of felt like part of the thing." She's like, "Even with breakfast?" And I was like, "Yeah, it just sort of felt like for dinner it wouldn't be like breaking the spirit of things." And you know how to describe it? And she sort of made just the audible version of an eye roll of just like. I think probably under the realization that she has a normal job, and sometimes people ask what her husband does, and probably the House of Lords video, that's quite a cool one to Google and then find. That's legit, isn't it? Whereas this maybe less so.
So you can get healthy, I think. That looks it's green. I don't know what the fuck it is, but
just because something's green doesn't necessarily mean pistachios are green. They're also like, yeah, there's a little bit of, yeah, I see some, yeah, a little bit of salad there, but I mean, that's a very selective bit. What did he say he ordered? I thought he ordered breakfast.
Some kind of breakfast.
But
he said he wanted something quick so they could get back out on the road, so presumably it's not cooked. It's just some sort of salad-y thing.
Yeah, that looks pretty
We have found ourselves in a very Tory pub.
Oh, smashed avocado.
Oh, yeah, he did say smashed avocado. He did.
Yeah.
I forgot he'd said that.
So that's pretty, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's still high in fats, but they're healthy fats.
I'm not sure that my local Spoons does a smashed avocado.
Yeah, that seems very bougie.
Yeah.
But the building that was here before, which was a royal and commercial hotel and posting house, I guess like a sort of inn, was the headquarters of the local Conservative Party.
There you go, of course it was.
Results of elections from the balcony.
Of course this was the headquarters of the Conservative Party. Although I did briefly attend a socialist grouping in what was formerly the head office of the Midlands Bank, which always felt funny to me. But they'd stopped using it as that for 30 years before I was born. But yeah, it was like this old crusty building in the centre of Birmingham. But it just felt weird. It felt like we'd taken over.
Steps. Apparently, during a by-election in 1859, there was a pitched battle outside between Conservatives supporting older boys from Bromsgrove School, which I would assume is a local school. Let's be honest, that sounds fleeting to me. And hundreds of voteless locals. Order was eventually restored by a 150-strong cavalry force. I'm going to presume they didn't beat up the boys from Bromsgrove School. They probably just beat the shit out of the locals. And a strong pub, I think. Strong pub. Right, that is Wetherspoons 4. Done.
I'm not sure him driving is very good with drinking.
Reasonably swiftly. So, with a bit of luck, we're there by 5. So as things stand, we are currently slightly north of Worcester. We're in Bromsgrove, just here. So what we need to do is get back onto the M5 and then we need to work our way around Birmingham.
See?
Onto the M42, I think. Because what we need to do eventually is to be on the A1, which confusingly is a motorway. I presume they like retconned it into being a motorway, because the M1 will take us up to Newcastle. And once we're on that, it's plain sailing. However,
the beer in St. Patrick's is green in the US.
I mean, they put dyes in the beer.
Oh, that's so good.
They also put dyes in the river in Chicago.
They do. I've seen that before. I've
Yeah.
seen the river, but like, that's just because I assume it makes it less toxic as well.
And,
I know it's Cleveland where the river sets on fire regularly, isn't it? I think one of them.
Lake Erie used to back in the day.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
Is there any part of North America the white man didn't make toxic?
No.
Whether it's rivers that are on fire, fucking
Yeah.
nuclear disasters on 3 Mile Island, the Dust Bowl, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell.
Birmingham is like a sort of nest of motorways, as is much of kind of the Midlands and the first bit of the north. So I think to get to the A1, we want to be on the M42, I think was my plan initially. Would just take us across to the M1. M5, M42, M6, M1.
Yeah. A1. Never mind.
Chain pubs haven't been immune to any of the challenges currently facing other pubs. The COVID-19 pandemic in particular was indiscriminate in the impact that it had on the hospitality industry. You only have to look at the stock price of chains like Wetherspoon and rival Mitchells and Butler to see that things were extremely hairy for a bit. In fact, Spoons is no stranger at all to closing underperforming locations. But it also continues to open new pubs too. And even amid a cost of living crisis has actually seen sales go up. Which is due to one particularly...
How bad are the roads in Birmingham? They're fucking brilliant. There's just too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Spaghetti Junction, or the Gravelly Hill Interchange, which is literally just lots of roads. Because the thing is, we're in the middle of anywhere. If we're going to get from anywhere to anywhere, you drive sort of through Birmingham. So they've built all the roads through. Which is fine, I guess. It's just the roads go through the shit areas, so if you just drive through the city, you think, oh, this is grim. But it's just the areas that are by the roads.
Defining attribute of Wetherspoon. The reason people continue to rock up to Wetherspoon in their droves in spite of hard economic times is that Spoons is dead cheap.
So let me introduce you to item number 2 on my Wetherspoons reading list. And in comparison to George Orwell, it's a very un-British book indeed. This is Made in America, the official authorised autobiography of Sam Walton.
For those of you who aren't acquainted, Sam Walton was the founder and longtime chairman of the US discount retailer Walmart.
And it's hard to get across quite how influential Sam Walton and Walmart have been upon Tim Martin and Wetherspoon. In fact, Tim once brought 500 copies of his book to dish out to the managers of all of his pubs.
While the fingerprints of Walmart are all over Spoons, however, the most obvious similarity is that both chains are obsessed with low prices.
He said, described it as selling, we sell 3 for 2. So other people sell 2, we sell 3.
And that makes up the difference.
Yeah. I think it's, even when we had one pub, we were cheaper. And there's no secret. If you look up our trade compared to any of the other brewers or the major pub companies or brewers, our average sales are double. So we do double the sales. We obviously have quite a bit of buying power now because we have a lot of volume. I mean, you will notice that our margins are not high either. So on 2 billion of turnover, I think we did 3.5% of margins net.
How does that compare to like other pubs, you know?
Yeah, their margins are substantially higher.
The first half of day 2 was, honestly, pretty exhausting and demoralizing. So we decided to treat ourselves to a little respite stop on the Woolly Edge northbound services in order to recuperate and try and plan where we might get to by the end of the day.
The difficulty is, the longer we go today, the tired we are tomorrow.
Green beer is disgusting. You people are fucking savages.
Should we?
Trying to get to the end.
Should we skip, or should we take a little comedy break, or should we maybe move ahead? Because
okay, we'll move ahead.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. You could. We get to the politics.
There we go.
Day 3: cask ale and the culture war. That sounds more our speed.
You could be owed up to £5,000.
Yeah, but I'm not. So
and
shut
not
the
even
fuck
know
up.
it. If you took out car finance any time.
Oh, here we go. Because I'm not sure we've got any more comedy bits.
So I guess we need to talk about Brexit.
Unless we
If
go
there's one
really
reason
far back,
Wetherspoon is particularly controversial, it's got to be Brexit. And you can't really understand how Wetherspoon became such a flashpoint in the culture war which surrounded the Brexit referendum without understanding.
And it wasn't just that he, as like a private citizen, was doing this thing. He was putting out like the newsletters in all of his pubs with like Brexit propaganda. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, look, he's legally allowed to do, but does...
Well, there should be consequences.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can have your opinion and do your shit, but that doesn't mean that I have to spend my money in your establishment ever again.
Yeah,
Unless you're Elon Musk, and then he'll sue you to make sure you spend your advertising dollars.
Yeah, you
because
have
he's a
to,
fuck.
yeah. Because free markets are, as long as I'm winning.
Free speech and free markets, which
Yes.
means pay me and shut up.
On my Wetherspoon reading list, the Wetherspoon News.
This is the Wetherspoons News, the official in-house magazine of J.D. Wetherspoon. Now, Spoons is hardly alone in having an official magazine like this. A bunch of British supermarkets also have them, but the Wetherspoons News feels a little bit different. I think that's partly because of the fact they're given out in pubs, and therefore, you know, people are stationary for a bit, and people maybe actually read them in a way that the Sainsbury's News or whatever doesn't actually get read quite so much. But alongside this, if you flick through the pages of the Wetherspoons News, you'll find that alongside stories from around the chain, you know, staff fundraisers, interesting things that punters have got up to, you'll also discover that the Wetherspoons News is effectively one of the UK's most read political pamphlets.
Yep.
For how long have you had a kind of paper of record of Spoons?
It's about 30 years, it's over 30 years, but we don't advertise, and I think there are quite a lot of important points to make, and if you do it in a magazine, you can do it in quite a formal way. And for example, if you've got a beer festival, you can explain who the brewers are that are contributing to it.
Oh, well, shut the fuck up. It's the right-wing politics that's the problem.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about you advertising a beer festival. That's
Yeah.
what you would expect in the publication of a fucking pub chain.
It's your promotion of fascism. That's
It's weird.
anti-immigrant parties.
Yeah.
From and so on. So, and you can also do a lot of individual stories about people who work in the pub or use the pub, and you know, businesses which supply the pub.
The magazine has often been a sort of conduit for you to kind of express your Tim's viewpoint, as I think it's called, and I think you've gained a bit of a reputation of someone who is keen to, I don't know, have your say.
Outspoken.
When did you first decide that was going to be a thing that you did? You're going to stick your head above the parapet a little bit?
Well, I've never been a journalist, and the magazine
Really?
comes out every 3 or 4 months, and I have to think, what the hell am I going to say? And so
You could just shut the fuck up.
God, it's amazing this guy makes money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ended up, I used to sort of sum up what the magazine was saying. I've ended up trying to get a point or two and say them.
So we have just left the Mile Castle Hotel where we stayed yesterday evening, and what we're going to try and do is find a different Wetherspoons within Newcastle to have breakfast at.
Yeah, they've just chosen the nicest Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
Where's the grotty piss-stained ones? That's what I want to know.
But we've largely been to quite rural ones that have been quite separate. I think we're going to try and find one, to kind of show that, you know, when you get to some big cities, you often have like two that are incredibly close.
Yeah,
but also
I don't even know how many we've got in Birmingham. Loads is the answer. Should we? Actually, I'll find out. I'm sure Google will tell me. How many spoons in Brum? There is only one in Birmingham Airport. Well, that's obviously not what I'm asking you, prick. We use TripAdvisor to rank everyone in Brum. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Proper ridiculous.
18 pubs that are Wetherspoons. Although technically I'm not counting the one at the Birmingham airport because that's not really in Birmingham.
No, don't count the airport ones.
It's not really a pub and it's not really in Birmingham. So we'll say 17 proper, which is still a lot of fucking pubs. Jesus.
Yeah. We're going to manage to find one in a shopping centre with a bit of luck, so let's try and do that.
Cool.
Even with this incredibly artistic Birdman or 1917 or adolescent-style one-shot filmmaking, it's hard to get across quite how little time it took us to get from the Mile Castle to our first pub of day 3. It was in the single-digit minutes, which was a welcome change. It's also difficult to get across quite how depressing the pub we found at the end of our walk was.
So, above the door there, it's been like less than a 5-minute walk, which compared to every other day trying to find the first one, quite the change. We'll take this. Okay, so this is very different. I think I was maybe saying yesterday that a lot of the ones we've been to had something similar about them. 2 coaching inns, a lot of rural pubs. This is the polar opposite to that. We have an escalator between us and
that's a bit weird in a pub.
It's effectively just a shop in a shopping centre.
Yeah.
I think when people are like, oh, Wetherspoons is like soulless and whatever.
This is what they're talking about.
I think this is what they're imagining, right? We have very much found ourselves in an entirely different sort
of... Yeah, I don't know that I'd be comfortable with the elevator situation.
It's really just loud and in the background all the time.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Linguistic community.
Especially when there was that nice Wetherspoons around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
No one understands what we're saying, and we don't understand what anyone else is saying either. I was like, oh, I should grab the bacon butty, please, and he was like, scrambled eggs. I was like, no. I also tried to order Georgia some pancakes with some bacon. It just gave us pancakes, and it is the saddest looking breakfast you've ever seen. Newcastle seems very nice. I would just don't speak the language.
After finishing up a somewhat disappointing breakfast, we left the Wetherspoons.
Alan Partridge talking to Michael.
Yes.
With his Geordie accent.
Yeah. Can you put the subtitles on, please? No, I fucking can't. You'll learn to listen. Boom. Oh, for fuck's sake.
There was one that I sent you in the list that was Babtridge. You have to go back into the Discord and find that after this, but God, I should watch this series again.
Sophie.
Mr. Partridge?
As you know, at the end of the week, I'm meeting Tony Hayers at the BBC, and he is Mr. Numero one. The problem is I've got some rude daubings on the side of my car.
Can you still drive the car?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, that's... Do you know what it says on the side of my car?
Tosser?
You're in the right ballpark. It actually says cock, piss, partridge.
Is everything all right? Mr. Partridge has got some rude graffiti.
Graffiti? What, in the hotel?
No, God, there's never any graffiti in the hotel. Although, in the Gents a couple of weeks ago, I did see someone had drawn a lady's part. It's quite detailed. Well, the guy obviously had talent. That's the trouble. But no, it's not the... No, it's on the side of my car. It says cock, piss, partridge. which is illegal. Is she new?
Yes, she is.
I mean, I'm basically driving around in an obscene publication. And I'd love to get my hands on the bastard. Or bitch, might be a lady.
It'll take 5 minutes.
Yes, of course.
Nip enough for a fag.
Don't worry about your car, Alan. I'll get Michael to sort it out for you.
Okay. Oh, talk of the devil.
Morning, Miss Partridge.
Yeah, Michael, I was just saying to Susan, a bit of a job for you. Unfortunately, some vandals have sworn all over my car again.
Vandals, eh, Miss Partridge? You know, makes me wonder what it's all about.
A boot?
Aye, you know, vandals, you know. What is it all about?
Oh, about, sorry. Sometimes it's difficult to understand the Geordie people.
You know, what I reckon is that if they had themselves proper jobs, they wouldn't be up to all this, you know, larking every night.
What?
What I'm saying is that, like, if they had themselves proper jobs, you know, for the gantil, then they wouldn't date. You know, a lot of them's from broken homes.
Sorry, that was just a noise. All I got there was broken homes. And a broken home is not an excuse for evil. Look at you. Do you go around drawing, I don't know, peephole bras on the wall?
Aye, but it was different for me, like, because, you know, I was in the army when I was 17.
Well, anyway, you get the idea.
It's funny is that the first time I watched that was just noise to me.
Yes.
And
yeah.
now I understood every single word. In the Discord, can you find cock, piss, babtridge?
Can I? I don't know if I can be
I
bothered.
can maybe find it and update it. I'll like reply to it because this is exactly what I was thinking about when I saw it. So.
Cook pass Babtridge.
Yes, that was it.
Where did you post this?
It's in the Discord somewhere. I'll find it.
When you say in the Discord, do you mean in my Discord or
our
our private
chat.
conversation? The conversation, right? Okay. So that's not the Discord as such, is it?
Well, it's our Discord.
That's DM.
Well, I never really post anything to you in your Vagina Wishes notes above that.
I don't know.
Is there a way to search my past history? Oh, the picture of Elon Musk getting erased. Trump is Stalin.
Yes.
That's very good.
God, you don't have to post a lot of racism, Krista. Just scrolling back. She's so racist, everybody. No, I can't see it. I don't know.
I'll find it. I'll go find it.
Okay, I'll play on regardless then.
Gay for half a century. I wonder what that means.
Who knows?
Where dreams go to die, and headed back to the car to make a plan for the third and final day of our trip.
We come out, turn left. As we drive, can you look out for like this thing just for confirmation?
Yeah.
And then we go across a roundabout, keep going, and then we should hit a roundabout, I think, where we can just hit the A1. Oh, if that works. But we've said that before. Pride and place at the front of every issue of the Wetherspoon News is Tim's viewpoint, which is, for all intents and purposes, a newspaper column.
Much like Marina Hyde or David Brooks or even George Orwell in his day, each issue sees Tim whipping out his pen to offer his thoughts on whatever topic has taken his interest that week. Sometimes that's things he thinks the government should be doing to support pubs. Sometimes it's hitting back against what he sees as inaccurate reporting on Wetherspoons in the press.
Okay, it was
Hopefully
19 days ago. I found it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cook past Babtridge. Oh God. I'll just put copy message. I'll just put copy message link because I can't figure out how to like forward my. Oh, can I forward it back to you? I can't. Can I forward it to Kevin? Yeah. Okay, I can forward you your own message.
Okay. Hey, there we go. Right. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. This is not cooked past Babtridge. This is something slightly different.
But he needs a Michael.
Yeah. POS.
That's awesome.
Small dick cunt.
Like a stupid game when
Fuck you.
The truck is back. It says small. Oh, and the truck is such a fucking.
POS whore cheater.
It is a dude.
So yeah, I thought cook past Babtridge when I saw that.
Yeah, how would you change that?
Chat, go to it.
Yeah, punts. Oh God. No, I don't know. I don't know how you would change. What? How do you? Dick might become pick or something. I don't know. That is, yeah.
Cook past Babtridge.
Yeah, don't cheat on people, and then you won't have a cook past Babtridge
Yeah.
situation. It's the main takeaway from this.
Yeah, it's a lesson learned.
There. Often he likes to riff on the very concept of free speech itself.
But there's one topic which was a long-time favourite of Tim's, and which elevated Wetherspoon to a particular place of controversy: the European Union.
The first thing I would say, of course, as well, is that Wetherspoons was not dragged into that Brexit debate.
Yeah, he dragged
Have a
it
look
in
at this. I've
Oh
just
yeah,
checked
he
to see
definitely
if
he did
we-
of Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, the world needs to know my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just some rich prick, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing this because you think it'll financially
Yeah.
benefit you.
Yep.
Was desperate to be part of a Brexit debate. He, even as far back as 2002, spent a ridiculous sum of money to get anti-European beer mats and that kind of thing into his pubs. So far preceding the Brexit debate, he just really wanted to be part of this sentiment.
Particularly for anyone watching from outside the UK.
Well, because I think there's... I don't know if it was always the case, but, like, there was a point in time where being rich was itself kind of made you sort of famous and respected to some extent. Whereas now you're not really. Like, no one looks at Elon Musk and goes, oh, he's rich, he must be awesome. So they have to, like... The narcissism within them means they have to use that wealth to force themselves upon the culture.
Oh, I think. Well, I mean, I would tend to disagree in that. You go back to like the Rockefellers and the Carnegies, and basically the kinds of people who get that wealthy are not well-adjusted, charitable, left-leaning kind of people, and they're wanting to manipulate government spending because they just see it as another way to line their pockets, and so they definitely will go out and make their case for. It's like Trump convincing someone in a fucking trailer park to vote for him.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that, I think, because you get I understand them pulling the strings behind the scenes. Sheldon Adelson, the perfect example. He wasn't out there doing speeches, giving out $1 million checks. He was giving out the $1 million checks in secret and telling everyone else what to say in their speeches.
Yes,
right.
Yes, true.
Whereas there's a certain kind of extra narcissism on top of that means you go like, Elon Musk is the richest man that's ever lived. He could easily just own governments and pull the strings. But instead, he has to wear the fucking cheese hat and jump around on stage in Wisconsin.
And got shit on.
Well, exactly, yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, you set yourself up for a fall because people don't like rich people.
Some people think rich people got rich because they deserved it, not because they won the Nepo baby lottery.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, some people are idiots. So.
Trump and the Art of the Deal. He didn't even write that book.
He can't even do a deal. He can't even do a deal that already exists because it was done by a black man. So, he has to do a different deal, which will basically be the same deal,
but not as good.
Almost certainly, yeah, because they've, why would the Iranians, now that you've flattened parts of their city, why would they be nicey with you?
Yep.
Ridiculous shit.
Okay, I think it could be easy to assume that Brexit kind of just happened out of nowhere in 2016. But for many people, wanting Britain to leave the European Union was a pretty long-standing political position.
Yep.
In fact, it was because of such people...
Yeah, the UKIP, and before that the referendum party. which was an Australian trying to buy the British electorate. These were all part of a thing going all the way back to the 80s.
Oh yeah, Murdoch. I mean, it's a fascist agenda around the world, whether it's Australia or America or Britain. It's all about right-wing ownership, right-wing control, so that businesses aren't regulated and can exploit people more.
Also, look how long ago this was, and Nigel Farage looks as old there as he does now. He hasn't
He's
really
much grayer now.
Well, I suppose he's much grayer now, but like other than that, like has he got a fucking a painting of himself?
He's a vampire.
He's got a painting of himself in the fucking attic.
Dorian Gray.
That's just getting worse and worse.
See, that's a very Oscar Wilde literary reference there that you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I'm queer and Irish, so obviously.
True.
That the vote even happened in the first place. The most famous of those people was probably Nigel Farage, but Tim Martin was also a long-standing Eurosceptic.
I hadn't been party political ever.
Yeah.
And but in the early 1990s, the country was in something called the exchange rate mechanism, which was the predecessor of the euro, and it was chaos.
No, it wasn't. No, what are you talking about? No, it wasn't. This was I mean, again, I described this the other day as the victory lap of capitalism. After the Soviet Union fell, the capitalists went fucking mental. Well, we can just do whatever we like because it's the end of history. And so they fucking invented all kinds of new ways to do shit, and it collapsed economies around the world. Of course it fucking did. Idiots. The safety wheels were taken off and everyone fell over. What a surprise.
Interest rates went up to 15%. People are complaining about 4.5%, now they're 15%. So 10 years later, it was suggested...
And ironically, do you know who made over £1 billion back when that was a lot of money? There weren't many billionaires in the world at the time. Back in the early 90s when the ERM destroyed the British economy, forced a run on a pound.
George Soros.
George fucking Soros.
Because he basically saw it coming and bet the right way, right?
Yeah, he shorted on the pound. And the pound went through the floor. He made over £1 billion in a day. Which was, like I say, there weren't even many billionaires in the world. So to make £1 billion in a day.
Yeah.
Good God. So, like, George Soros is evil, but in completely different ways than the right wing think he's evil. Like, they think it's because he's a secret evil Jew baby that wants to destroy the white man with political career. No, he's just a rich cunt. He's just an evil rich bastard who wants to get rich off of the back of, innocent people losing their jobs. He's a capitalist.
Yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. How about that? Like, if the system didn't exist the way it did, he couldn't have made that money.
Exactly, which why we need to get guillotines. That is a joke. Gil, calm down, mate. Gil, chill.
Should
Your time
join
has
the
passed.
euro, and I said, hold on, I'm not anti-European in any way.
But
the predecessor.
Yeah, they all do this.
You can pause it.
I'm not anti-European. I'm anti-EU.
Yeah, I'm not racist, but
It is a bit, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not an asshole, but
Yeah, you're not anti-European. You just laugh at all of those bigoted jokes your friends make.
yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
fantastic.
what fucking difference does it matter whose face is on your currency?
It honestly doesn't. I couldn't give two
doesn't.
shits. No,
Does it all spends the same?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not even that people are, because people aren't experts in economics or whatever. They're just doing it because they don't want to have to look at a currency with like a Czech guy on it or something.
Yeah.
Which you mostly wouldn't anyway, because our ones would probably still have the Queen on them, which would be mostly the ones that would be used here. It's just you'd also have some French ones and Spanish ones, and that's too much. We might as well. What was the point of Agincourt if we're just going to let the French have funny French coins in the country? It's outrageous.
Yeah, imagine that every country gets its own representation. Wah! But
Even worse, German coins.
Yeah, coins with a Germany on it with a two-headed.
Imagine that. Yeah, exactly. A fucking a German, probably a swastika or something on the euros.
What's next? The royals are going to be German?
Exactly. Heaven forbid. Don't you dare impugn the Britishness of the Saxe-Coburg Gothers.
You know what was really accomplished by Britain not joining the euro? British people now get charged by their banks, when they need to take euros out
Sure.
to travel abroad. Or when they pay with their debit cards, they get paid a currency transaction fee. Whereas if you're on the fucking euro, you could just take money out in your home country and spend it everywhere in Europe.
True.
I remember, like, when I went to France and I had to change into livre. And, you'd go to Britain and be pounds and germs. Like, it was so stupid to have to change currencies every time you cross a border.
Livre? Wasn't that the small denomination?
Well, I don't know.
Wasn't it francs?
Francs, yeah, probably. Yeah. You're right. And it's so long ago, I don't even remember what the fucking money was called. It doesn't even occur to me. Like, I can go to Amsterdam, I can go to Barcelona, I can go to Italy. I don't have to worry about my money. My money's the same money. It's money is money.
Yeah. Oh, well, one of the first times I ever went on holiday was just before the change. It was in Pesetas in Spain. And, yeah, it was a bit weird. And then you get the euros, because then you get the fucking euros, you can use them anywhere.
Yeah.
We had euros, and then I remember we came back with euros, and then we went to visit family in Ireland. We were like, "Oh, we can spend the euros." Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got a fucking Spanish king or some shit from the 15th century on it. I don't care.
I don't even look at who's on my fucking money. I look at the denomination. Is it a 5, a 10, 20, or 50? That's all I notice about my money.
Yeah, it could be anyone. Could be like a fucking a Polish dude you've never heard of, or a Spanish dude you've never heard of.
Yeah. You know what? It pays my bills.
Yeah.
It buys me shit.
Yeah,
That's
it's got the
all I
number
care
20
about.
on it. That's what matters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fine.
Part and cause chaos in the country. I think if you want a currency, you've got to have a government. And so I got propelled as
if you want a currency, you've got to have a government.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a great prophecy, because the euros definitely collapsed as a currency.
Well, not just that, but other governments in Europe, do they still exist?
Yeah, both of those things have happened.
Yeah, so they've got a currency and a government in all of Europe. Okay, yeah. Well, that seems to have knocked down that little pin of concern for your friend.
A guy running a few pubs into the headlights 25 years.
A few pubs.
Mm-hmm.
A few pubs. Fuck off, mate.
Ago as to whether the UK should join the euro. I was on Panorama.
The team for joining the Lord Hattersley, Richard Branson.
God, Richard Branson. There's a name you don't.
Well, Roy Hattersley. He's got to be dead, Hattersley, hasn't he? Former deputy leader of the Labour. Yeah, former deputy leader of the Labour Party. Next to his name, Kev. Read it. I don't know. Michael Howard. Did you threaten to overrule him?
Something about the night about it.
Well, he does look like a vampire, yes.
He does.
And I don't know who the fuck Janet Bush is.
Yeah.
Panorama, it's sort of weird, debating with Richard Branson and so on. Won that debate, then went into the back.
Won that debate? I'm sorry, are you an internet shitlord? What do you mean you won that debate? That's not how debate works.
Debate me, bro.
Yeah, I fucking wrecked Richard Branson in the free marketplace of ideas. Pwned!
I wasn't a UKIPper, I wasn't anti-European. But in 2015, 16, so it's going to be...
you just made keeping the pound man, Richard, the fucking Howard, your like main go-to guy. But you weren't anti-European, no.
A referendum.
Hattersley's still alive? He was around in the 80s as an old man.
Now?
He's got to be. He's well into his 90s, surely. Well, should we have a look?
Yeah, of course.
Roy
I thought you were on the wiki already.
No, someone in the chat said he's still alive.
Oh, thanks, chat.
Roy Sidney George Hattersley. Baron Hattersley.
Oh, he's in the Lords, huh?
Yeah, he was a member of the Labour Party. He served as the MP for Birmingham Sparkbrook for 32 years.
Oh my God.
How old is he now? He is 92. He was born in 1932. He was born before Hitler became Chancellor of Germany.
Wow.
How are you here?
Wow.
How the fuck are you here? He got married in 2013. What?
Good on him. That's optimism.
Yeah, fair play. Well, I mean, he's been married 12 years to Maggie Pearlstein.
Yeah, but how old is he? 12 years ago, he's 93?
92. So, yeah, he got married when he was 80.
That's optimism.
Yeah, that is fair play to you.
Basically, cheaper than writing a will, I guess.
At that age, can you even consummate? Like, is that
Viagra.
just possible? I don't know.
Viagra exists for a reason.
Yeah.
We've made it out.
To quote one of the Northern Boys tunes, was it? Girl, do you feel me? We could go for one more round, but it might just kill me.
Yeah, that's kind of his theme song, I think, ever since.
Newcastle, and actually a little bit further. We are approaching the border to Scotland, which is very exciting. And so our next thing that we need to decide is where exactly...
Jeb's Euro coins have got goats on them, which doesn't narrow it down. Presumably, that's the billy goats of Coon.
Oh, FC Coon.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. You should take a test of the backs of all the European coins, and you have to guess which country it is.
True. Yeah. I think we'd struggle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hello there, Litty Bros. Welcome aboard.
Hey.
Don't forget, everyone, you can give me lots and lots of money.
Welcome to the Revolution.
Or just a bit of money, because I'm poor and I was banned for a week, which means I'm going to be even fucking poorer.
Are we going to stop for lunch today? Scale of the map.
I am accepting euros, even though I don't know what the transfer rate is.
The exchange rate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Don't pay me in dollars though, because that country's about to fucking collapse. So I don't need your third world nonsense. And of course, our favourite, dong. You can pay me in Vietnamese dong.
Change to Scotland to be there's just less stuff, so it kind of brings more things in. But I don't think that matters too much to us because actually
it's always in the crease
we
of
need
the
to go
fucking
quite
map.
close. Okay, so we're just coming up to Berwick upon Tweed. I can't think what we've passed through.
Yes, we do have a town called Berwick upon Tweed. We are a serious country. You will take us seriously.
Isn't it still at war with some country because it was left out of a treaty?
Something like that, yeah.
I'll find out the stat. I'll find out the random piece.
Well, there is. I think I'm right in saying San Marino is still technically in the Second World War or something, because it was always signed off with the Italians, but they forgot to mention them in the peace treaty or some bollocks. So I reckon we invade San Marino. Why not?
Western Castle is that way.
You what, sorry?
I feel like there should be a song called San Marino.
Yeah, there's probably it'd be a Eurovision song, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Deux pois.
Is Berwick with an E?
So
B-E-R-E-R-E-K?
No, no, Berwick. B-E-R-W-I-C-K.
Wick. Okay.
Berwick upon Tweed.
Yeah, but it's spelled it's pronounced Berwick.
Berwick.
Because Scottish, because English.
Well, it borders, Christo.
Yeah. Oh, it's a myth.
Oh, is it?
Apparently. That it was remained at war with Russia due to a clerical oversight in a peace treaty. And because of its ambiguous status, Berwick was sometimes listed separately in official documents, e.g. England, Scotland, and Berwick upon Tweed, because it used to go back and forth and back and forth, back and forth so often.
Yeah.
So the myth claims that Britain, when they declared war in 1853, Berwick was named in the declaration of war, but not in the peace treaty. Supposedly, it was only resolved much later, some say as late as 1966, when a symbolic peace treaty was signed by a Soviet official and the mayor of Berwick. It's a charming urban legend, but not historically accurate. It was never officially at war with Russia on its own, and there's no legal basis for the claim that it was accidentally left at war.
Fair enough.
So if you're in a pub quiz and they try to pull that shit, you're like, nope, not true.
Yeah, but you're just going to be one of those annoying cunts in the pub quiz, and everyone's just like, who cares?
Just give them the point.
Yeah. Oh, Spock is half man, half human, not half man, half Vulcan. It doesn't matter. Leave it.
Pig bear, man bear
pig.
Man bear pig.
Will you accept? Thank you, Rachel. It says, will you accept payment in hryvnias, which I did not know was the Ukrainian currency since 1996 is the hryvnia, which is apparently 1 hryvnia is worth, Jesus Christ, 1.8 pence.
Spoiled like a baby otter.
So if you want to give me lots of hryvnia, yes, that I will accept that money. Thank you. Although why a Ukrainian would be giving me money, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, thank you. Not that I disagree. I just they've got their own
like a baby
things to be spending it on, don't they? Aren't we giving Ukraine money instead? Isn't that the way it should be?
Yeah, probably.
Thank you, James Holness, with 5 gifted memberships as well. Much love. Thank you for all the hryvnia or whatever.
We are presumably about here, maybe. I think ideally we'd not go in. We need to go.
This is Wix Studio.
Fuck
Built
you.
to meet any brief.
Fuck
Even
off.
recalls for
Go fuck
complex structure.
yourself.
Let AI
Sort of in through Edinburgh, I think, but ideally we'd not go in there for lunch because I think that would just take us a lot of time. We're going to carry on. Do we go to like Musselburgh?
Musselburgh.
The A1 does.
Musselburgh, you cunt.
Do we try and come off at Musselburgh? And I think that'll be a bit busy.
I am going to stab you. Thomas, you can't be friend of the show if you're going to be weird and knobby about it. Musselburgh. Musselburgh, you prick. Is it Edinburgh? No, it isn't. You know, St. Petersburg.
Yeah, Peterborough.
Defunct nation.
Thank you, Way with a Story with 1776 defunct nation bit is. Much love.
We're less busy than Edinburgh itself. I've yet to work out what happens after Edinburgh, so it would also be good to stop before then for those practical reasons. Okay, let's go to Musselburgh.
And so we set
Musselburgh. Just like the German city of Hamborough. See what I did? No,
Yeah.
very similar.
off towards the border to Scotland and towards the spoons in a town which is 100% not called Musselburgh. But not before we almost failed the entire challenge, kind of out of sheer forgetfulness.
I'm very excited to cross the border to Scotland. Oh, is it Starbucks? Oh no, yeah, the whole. Sorry, I just forgot. So I'm not even like a big kind of Starbucks or like drinks on the road kind of person. But I was like, oh, like hot chocolate might be nice actually. I just managed to effectively forget the entire concept of the road trip. Imagine if I'd done this on my own. Do you think I would have just done that and then just been like, oh no?
But with that minefield dodged, we eventually made it to the borderlands.
Border viewpoint? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Nice.
We're not missing out on that. Just Scottish border. Oh no, is it that? Is it that?
Who cares?
We missed it.
Tim, and indeed Wetherspoon itself, jumped into the 2016 EU referendum with absolutely all guns blazing.
For a while, going to Spoons was like having tickets to a Vote Leave immersive experience.
Basically, yeah. People have sort of forgotten it because I think we've tried to memory hold the entirety of Brexit. We just scratch it off.
Such a national trauma.
Yeah, just scratch it off. It happened. We don't talk about it. You know, it's like a family. It's one of those family events that you don't talk about until your aunt gets drunk at a wedding and starts talking about it. Dickhead. Yeah, so like everyone's just like, oh, we'll forget that he's a fucking Brexit wanker. He does cheap grub and shit beer. That'll do. You know.
The company had hundreds of
But at the time, people literally like boycotted him and stuff.
Yeah, I did. I still do.
Yeah.
Thousands of the wordiest beer mats you've ever seen printed.
Today, EU boats catch 60% of the fish in the UK waters. I presume it's actually 100% because at the time we were EU boats as well, you prick. But, okay.
Instructing its patrons to vote.
How did Brexit work out for the fisheries? Let's just check.
Yeah, check. Project
Oh,
Fear.
they're fucked. They're absolutely fucked. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Thanks, Wetherspoons guy.
Yay.
In favour of the UK leaving the EU. It printed a special issue of the Wetherspoon News, which did technically reprint 4 articles arguing in favour of Brexit and 4 articles arguing against, but given that all the articles against were 1 page and one of the articles 4 was 6, it's fair to say that...
That's a bit of a piss take. Technically, it's 4 on 4. Yeah. He said one of the four is a giant.
Deck was a little bit stacked. Tim also went on a tour of 100 of the chain's pubs to chat to regulars. No doubt.
You know, because he has over 100 fucking pubs. This small businessman.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sharing his view that the country would be better off out.
We were all asked, what do you want to do? And I thought, I'm going to vote to leave. I think if there's one thing that's essential for the future of the world, it's democracy. And it's never perfect in any country. But I thought
also, he makes it out like, oh, I was on the fence. We literally already saw you along with Michael Howard and that woman whose name I've totally forgotten. Bush, whatever her name was. And that was from years before the fucking referendum. So don't act like you were like, oh, I was on the fence. I wasn't sure which way to go. No, you were always a massive Brexiteer. Shut up.
But the EU has a president.
Also, is the bar they're in, is that like a former train station or something?
President who isn't elected. MEPs who can't initiate legislation, although there is a parliament that can't initiate legislation, and a court that isn't responsible.
Is that a former train?
So it's got what even Remainer said was a democratic deficit. And for all its imperfections, I thought it's better to have a national parliament. We elect them. They're not perfect, but it works.
But I can buy them. I can't buy the EU. I can't buy the EU Parliament. I can buy our Parliament, however.
I was about to say, the number of lords that he spoke alongside of in supposedly his campaign against democratic deficit.
Yes.
Brilliant. Wonderful stuff.
They're like the poster children for democratic deficit.
Yeah.
Versus North America for all its faults versus the South. West Germany in its time versus East Germany. Democracy works. It's a better system. It's chaotic, but it works.
Tell that to MAGA.
Yeah, democracy doesn't work.
Tell that to whatever Nigel Farage's personal funded party with no democracy in it whatsoever.
Democracy clearly doesn't work because it allows people to say Musselburgh, and this can't be tolerated.
So, babe, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, do you want to leave it? I'm good. Yeah. We got through quite a bit of it. Basically, this guy's a bell end.
Yeah, don't go to Wetherspoons.
Yeah. Boom.
That's the message of the night.
Yes. If there's one thing to learn from this, don't go to Wetherspoons.
Plus, if we stay up much past 10 o'clock my time, we're going to start getting rated in by a shit ton of people. So,
what do you mean? Outside your door?
No, 10 minutes past the hour. And near the end of our show is when everyone else is going off, and so they're all they raid into you 10 minutes before we want to leave.
Why wouldn't you want me to have more eyes on?
You can stay online. I'll get off. But I had a long day and a long week.
No, Christy, it's okay. It's okay. You want me to fail? That's fine. And your wish is granted.
Partner push 2025.
True. Okay, Christy, what have you got coming up on your channel?
Got some D&D, but in July I'm hoping to get on that new series, which is not political. It's just more of a side project. Mistakes Murderers Make. Oh, very exciting related to that. You haven't started pressing the button to read it.
No, go for it.
Okay.
Speak.
Tomorrow, someone is coming along to remove the bed frame that is wedged into the space where I slept before, and I'll be able to convert that into an office. It'd be so exciting. So then I'll maybe start making videos again without my legs going numb.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're going to have a place to sleep.
Yeah, I'm currently at my kitchen table doing this. By the way, I've got my computer set up on my kitchen table.
It's just unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I'm going to get a gamer chair, man. I'm going to get some of the
Oh, yes. Well, if you're going to go full gamer, you're going to have to get... What's your favourite go-to slur?
Maggot.
That's not a slur, Christy. You've got to get much more racist.
Oh,
Jesus.
I can't say it. Ritz.
Okay.
I can't even say it on Twitch.
You can't say it. You can't, yeah. Don't
I can't
even
use my favorite slur. No. Ritz.
Okay.
Honky? Can you say honky?
No, you can't say that either.
Oh, okay.
You just did a racism. Disavow. Okay. Everyone, I'm going to send you all over to Lux Progressive, who is cool and is looking at some Israel-Iran stuff, so that should be terrifying. Enjoy. And I'll be
to the
back.
real world.
Yes, indeed. I'll be back tomorrow, probably to look at something or other. I don't know. And Christy may be back with us next week.
Yeah, next
Cool.
Friday.
Okie doke. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Thank you for all of your support. It's goodbye from me and goodbye from Christy. It's not even really a sign off.